What's up, everybody? Beautiful people around the world. It is your host, Simone.
And your co-host, Lala.
And welcome back to I Was Thinking. Yay! I always say this. It's been a minute, but it has truly been a minute. So this was supposed to come out like technically last week. Yes.
It was supposed to come out this current week. We were supposed to record it last week.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Time is weird, especially since I will put this out end up a week later. Yes. Whatever Lala said, yes. But we're back. Real quick, how are you?
Pretty good. Nothing too crazy. Getting used to a new job. So my schedule is a little, I don't want to say wonky, but I'm exhausted by the end of it.
I mean, that's understandable. You got to get used to the work culture there, new coworkers.
And now it's like going back to the office. Yeah. The traveling to the office, it takes an hour for me to get home after work because of traffic. So by the time I get home, I'm just exhausted. I'm like, I just want to eat and I just want to go to sleep because I got to wake up the next day and do it all over again. So
understandable. I mean, hopefully it won't take you too long. I would say like maybe a month or two. You should be fully adjusted. So
yeah, hopefully. How have you been?
Same old, trying to get my health in order, working, all that good stuff. I have started the job hunt again, even though I'm not fully healed, but I'm low-key tired of remote work. I need to find something to get me out of this apartment. So whether it's hybrid. Yeah, whether it's hybrid or fully back in office, I'm fine, but I kind of need to go back outside is what I'm saying.
I think us earth signs are not meant to stay indoors for very long because I'm feeling a lot better now that I've started this like hybrid job. So yeah. I think a hybrid would even be a really good one for you.
That makes sense because I can tell my mental has tanked because if I'm in this house, I'm not leaving unless I'm forced out of this house, which is sad to say, but it is what it is.
Yeah.
But also, it's been extremely hot, so it's like, why do I want to leave? You know, global boiling, all that great stuff. But that's not what we're here to talk about today. The world ends. We have a very long episode today, as you can see by the title. So we'll go ahead and jump into it. But real quick, we do have a BTS Corner. You know, again, we're both armies, so we gotta celebrate our men. Yes. Starting with Jin, who had officially started his tour, kicking off the first two shows in Seoul. And then he was in, I believe this is pronounced Chiba, which is in Japan. And then I think the weekend that we're recording now, he's in Osaka before he comes over to the States.
Are you excited?
I am very excited. I'm just excited to have a member finally come to Florida. And I hope they like it enough to where he's like, oh, yeah, we got to go there for the group. Please come here for the group. I missed my chance in 2020 because of COVID.
Okay, let's keep going. We don't need to go down
I know. But yes, we will talk about Jin's tour, but it will be after I see him. So, and hopefully we can get Gina on here because she's going with me. It's me, her, and her daughter, Emma. So I'm very excited. I'm going to meet her kids for the first time.
Yay.
Yes. Pray for me because I'm very awkward around children.
Oh, you'll be fine.
I know. And they're older, preteen, but still.
That's what I mean. They'll be fine.
Yeah.
Because I'm pretty sure they're just going to be chill back. So it'll be fine. You'll be fine.
Yes. And then we also do have Hobie doing Hobie Palooza in Berlin this Sunday while we record. But obviously, again, it'll be over once this episode's out. So
he's going to do amazing, though. I mean, listen, I went to Hobie Palooza in Chicago. That was such an amazing show. So I'm sure he's going to kill it. They are live streaming it, aren't they? I think so.
Yeah, I think they're live streaming it on the actual Bangtan TV YouTube channel. So,
okay.
Yeah.
I might have to make sure to catch that. I'm going to need to find out the time. Okay.
But then also, we're only really bringing them up because on July 1st, we finally got our post-military OT7 live. And I'm so happy it wasn't like in the middle of the night where I missed it because I was so scared that was going to happen. And I just happened to be sitting at work and I saw it said BTS started their live. And I was like, okay, is this a promotional thing that I forgot about? Or is this actually them? And then when I clicked on it and saw those 7 faces, I was like, oh, I'm going to start crying. Well, I have to answer these phones and try to not sound like I've been crying. It's fine. It's fine.
Listen, you got lucky. I was at work, so I couldn't even click on to like see it. I saw the thumbnail and I was like, oh, they're doing their live. They're back together. I'm like, okay, I'll have to like watch the replay of it later.
Yeah.
But it was so nice to see their faces and seeing them together. Obviously, I've already watched the live, so they're chaotic. So everybody, welcome back to OT7.
Nothing has changed when they're all together. We got Hobie throwing himself again with laughter, going off Jin with his dad jokes.
Yep.
Maknae line flirting with each other. Namjoon rambling. It's great. It's great. And Yoongi too, always whispering. Yes, being an old man and whispering and making fun of Jimin.
The moment that I think it was Jimin, Jimin was bringing up some of like the slang words, I like focused in on Yoongi, and you can see Yoongi like kind of like these young kids. Like you could see the facial expression in him. I'm like, oh, there's my old man.
Oh, it was so great. It was so great. And I really love that live, too, because, again, it just shows how much they're in control of their own work, because we did get a confirmation from them themselves. They're going to start working on a group album with plans to release it next spring. So in spring 2026. So get ready, y'all. Get your money ready for everything. Okay. Especially with the maybe tariffs being put on Japan and South Korea. But yeah.
We're not even going to touch that. Okay.
No, we're not.
Acknowledge that. But along with the album announcement, they also did announce a tour for come spring of next year. So really get your pockets ready.
And it's interesting that they're right there now, except for like Jin and Hobie, that they're recording this in the States. I found that interesting when they said that.
I have my theories on why they're doing it in the States. But I want to look more into it before I say anything.
We can talk about it later. Yes, but
kind of did. We kind of did. I think I've already told you like my theories.
Privately?
Yeah.
You're gonna have to tell me again later. I forgot, but it's fine.
It's fine. It's fine. Don't worry.
Yes. So they'll be in LA approximately about 2 months, it seems like.
I think they're going to be longer because they're waiting for Jin to finish his tour.
Yes.
And Jin doesn't finish his tour until August. So I think that's the reason why they said July to September, I think they were saying. So we'll have to wait and see. I do understand Yoongi's comment, though, of it being like, this is going to be something different. And I think it's because like now that everyone had their solos, everyone's going to have their own inputs on like the range that they're comfortable in being in or what type of things they want to challenge themselves into. So like all of that has to be incorporated into this new album. And it's just like RM said in the live, they haven't had an actual full group album since 2020. So
yeah,
by the time it's already been 5 years.
And Hobie had mentioned that too. You know, they got to get back together and like the groove of being a unit again as 7, incorporate all the different sounds from their solos into the group. Probably find new sounds to keep up, like what we were talking about. I think off like recording like with the trends, with the new trends and everything. So
yeah, because even Yoongi brought that up on how like the industry has changed since they've been on the military and everything like that. And we can take for example with Jin doing Country, doing Rope It. And then Hobie doing Killing It Girl. Like it's completely different than what you would imagine like BTS as a group to do. But it's also a lot of artists is what they're doing. They're testing things out. They're trying different genres that they've wanted to try and challenging themselves, which is great because like that's how growth happens. So now to bring 7 individuals into one group all over again, and trying to figure out what everyone is comfortable in challenging or what they want to change or the sound that they want to make together as a group. Like, yeah, that's going to be hard.
But they'll do it. I believe in them. Yeah. And again, they're taking their time, which I'm great because remember, we had all these rumors of like they were going to make the album and put it out at the end of this year and then go on tour. And it's like, I'm glad from them themselves. They're like, we need time. Give us time. And they gave us a set date. So I'm excited. And we are here.
My favorite part was Namjoon singing Soda Pop at the end of that live.
Yes, because it goes into our topic today of K-pop demon hunters that's taken over. It's world appropriate, pretty much. It's taken over the K-pop scene. It's taken over the Americans, like people who aren't into K-pop. It's all over my like Twitter /X, whatever you want to call it, all over my TikTok. Seeing so much like fan theory, so much merch, so much fan art. I think this is a sleep hitter, if that's correct. Like, this is a movie I don't think anyone, even the creators, expected to like obviously they wanted it to do well. I don't think they expected it to like take off this. Explode. I have not seen a media piece, especially a movie, have a quick cult following like this in a very, very long time. I don't even know when the last movie I've truly seen take off like this. And I'm not counting like Sinners from earlier, because that also, you know, did take off pretty quickly when it came out.
It did. But obviously, like, I feel because of the fact that this was released on Netflix, and so it was able to be more accessible to a lot of different people in a lot of other countries, because obviously they have this movie in a lot of different languages as well. I think it was easier for it to have like the cult, like all of a sudden bring all these people together, you know? So yeah, I really don't know.
I don't know.
I think the only other one that I can kind of see, only because like I've seen so many people talk about it a lot, was probably Moana. But I don't know.
The first one, obviously.
Yeah. First. Because even the second one, everyone was very excited for. So I feel, but to like this gravity, this type of level that
it's K-pop been a long time.
Yeah. I want to say like the close, maybe third to get close to that would be Moana.
Okay. Because I've seen both of them, and I do remember there was mixed reviews on the second one, especially with the music too. I don't know. I feel like there's another one aside from Moana, but I'm trying to think. I can't put anything together. And I feel like all the ones I'm thinking of are like super old. Like I'm trying to think in recent times, and nothing's coming to my head. You know what?
The other one that could potentially be is fucking Avengers. I don't know why that blanked.
Yes. Like old school Avengers.
The original Avenger movies.
That's what, like with Tony, like not Tony Stark, with Robert Downey Jr. and Scarlett. Yes.
Johansson. Yeah.
Yes. So like, I think before Endgame, because I know they've been kind of on a weird
downhill.
Yeah.
I want to say like the Endgame was like the biggest one. And then after that, it just kind of fell through. But I mean, the actors are, you know, everyone's getting older. So I understand why they want to like move on other projects. So,
yeah. But yes, like Lala has said, we had our dear leader, Namjoon, singing Soda Pop. And it was funny because like when he started singing, JK got so excited. He's like, you seen it too?
I am not surprised by that. I am not surprised that JK's seen it.
I would have actually expected JK to be the one who started singing it, not Namjoon.
Yes, that was literally my thought process when I saw that happening. I was all like, oh, okay, Namjoon. Like, all right, get it.
So what you're telling me is your soul also would have been snatched by the Soulja Boys. Okay, I get it.
Listen. Yes.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. So clearly Namjoon and JK are right there in that same boat with me, getting our souls snatched by Soda Pop.
Yes, it made such headlines of him singing it that even the official Netflix like Twitter account had changed their bio to BTS noted Soulja Boys 7/1/25 right after that live.
As they should. I mean, it's an exciting moment. I do feel though that JK is more like with Huntrix than Soulja Boys.
You know the guy who keeps ripping off his hoodie no matter
that's
like
him.
That is I think that's JK actually. Where like the Soulja Boys are on, he's like, yeah, Soulja Boys, and then the Huntrix comes on, he rips it off and it says Huntrix. He's like, I love you, Huntrix. That is JK.
Yeah, totally, completely. Oh,
because don't get it confused. He loves his girl groups down. Always has.
Yeah. Got to give it up for JK.
Yes. I need someone to ask them later on who their biases are, but we'll get to that later. So is there anything you want to say about this movie before we deep dive? We haven't done like a review like this in a minute. So just remember, guys, when we review like any documentaries or TV shows or movies, we spoil everything. Before that, I will get into like the creation of the movie, people who are involved of it, and like the cast and crew. And then after that, when we start doing the actual review is when we spoil it. So we'll let you know. If you don't want to know any spoilers, when I let you know when we get into the movie review, you can stop this and actually go watch the movie, like go support the movie and then come back. If you don't care, you can listen to this, learn about everything, and still go watch the movie.
Go ahead and take your own take and your own what you would take out of it from watching it. Because I feel like this movie has such good deep meanings and connections in it. No matter what, you will get something out of it. It doesn't matter how old you are, honestly. Like, I know that this is such an animated movie and so many people are still like, oh, well, it's animated, it's a cartoon, it's for kids and everything. But the meaning behind it, like, honestly, I think it hits more of the adults.
And I miss movies like that. We used to get so many movies like that. Like, my all-time favorite is Shrek. And I feel like, especially as a person who loves animation, actually used to want to work in the animated like industry when I was younger, it's like this is the thing that's missing from, yes, it's labeled a kids show or a kids movie, but it's enjoyable for everyone and the parents actually enjoy it too, can get, you know, like if there's like some dirty jokes, they can understand the dirty jokes, or just like the deeper meaning that the kids may not understand too. Because obviously, look who's putting in the money for the merch and things like that. It's the adults.
It's the adults.
So,
you know, the other thing that I just realized because of you saying and bringing up like Shrek and everything. Have you ever seen Littlefoot, the dinosaurs?
No. Oh, no, I've never seen that.
Okay. Well, this is just showing my age. That's fine. It's fine. Anyways, for anyone that's listening, if you ever remember like Bambi, Littlefoot, and like it were such good movies, but like you do end up crying because there's certain things that happen. This movie does that. I think now I realize why I'm so obsessed with this movie. I will say I've lost count how many times I've seen this movie already.
Oh, same. I watched it last night just before, you know, this morning too. I'm pretty sure I've watched it at least once this week. It's that bad, and there's not really anything that I watched that much before and don't get like bored of watching it repeatedly.
Yeah, I think the last time, the only other thing that show, I guess I should say show, the only other show that I can go back and it doesn't matter and I can pick up from any season, anywhere, is Supernatural. Supernatural and Criminal Minds.
I used to like Supernatural, but then I fell off and I didn't watch the last 2 seasons, I think. But to your point, the only show I do that with also is the anime Fairy Tale. So...
Have you ever seen Fruits Basket? I know we're going a little bit off topic, but just because they're in...
It's fine.
Yeah.
No, I have not. I am familiar with it. I hear some mixed reviews on that anime, but no, I've never watched it, but I know of it.
I can understand the mixed reviews. I could actually understand that because yeah. But it's good. I enjoyed it. If you disregard certain things.
That's why there's mixed reviews. So maybe I'll take a gander and watch it and see. But yes. Back to K-pop.
Yes.
Demon Hunters. And this is also going to be shade. You know, maybe if the Disney CEO wasn't so focused of making shows or movies just for kids because he says animation's only enjoyable for kids, maybe your movies would do a little better, sir. I'm just saying. But also, treat your workers better.
The real lives. Yeah.
Like, there's a difference between making things just for money and making things that you're passionate about and it comes through that makes it more enjoyable for audiences. I'm just saying, you know, maybe you can learn from this, even though you already make tons of money, but from nostalgia, there's going to become a point where people get tired of nostalgia.
Oh, hell yeah. Plus, on top of that, it's nothing like the original. You know what I mean? It's almost like all the remakes of like bringing them into live actions because they think, oh, this is what's going to get the adults. Like, no, we can watch animation and get hooked to them. You just need actual authentic stories, Disney.
While also not actually promoting the movies you do put out with authentic and new stories. Like, I know there's one that just came out for Pixar, and I heard nothing about it until like the week it was supposed to be released. And the look you're giving me, you probably don't know about it either. The Elios one. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. You just proved my point right there.
No, nothing, girl. Nothing came out.
Yep.
Sonic animation movies, you're where it's at. Because the last movie that they basically had done animation was back in 2023, and it was for the Spider-Man. And it's one of the favorite ones, too. It's the Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse.
So it's funny you mentioned that, because I was actually going to mention Spider-Man when I started talking about the movie. But Bilal wasn't ahead of me, so we will just go ahead.
Sorry, yeah. I just wanted to see, because like my thought process was like, wait, when was the last time that Sony Animations? Because from what I know of, they make really good animation movies. So I wanted
They're
to see
about to be ahead of the game, so they know what they're doing.
And they take
now.
their time. That's the thing, too, is they take their time to do the creative work of it. So again, like you said, if you're passionate with something, you're always going to kill it.
Yes, exactly. So getting into the movie. So K-Pop Demon Hunter, as we keep saying, is an animated movie created by Sony Animation Pictures, and it's been distributed through Netflix, which became available for streaming on June 20th, 2025. And it is rated PG, which again, y'all, PG just means parental guidance. So there's still some things where, you know, it may be more suitable for the older kids, or make sure a parent's there. That's what PG means. It doesn't mean it's just for kids. Now, I wrote down 2 descriptions of the movie just because Netflix's one is so vague. And then I like the one on Rotten Tomatoes. It just sounds better. So like, if you don't know anything about this movie, like the one Rotten Tomatoes gives you is, when they aren't selling out stadiums, K-pop superstars Rumi, Mira, and Zoe use their secret identities as badass demon hunters to protect their fans from an ever-present supernatural threat. Together, they must face their biggest enemy yet, an irresistible rival boy band of demons in disguise. Isn't that a great description without really giving too much away? Because then here's Netflix's description. Gobbling up ramen 1 minute, taking down demons the next. These K-pop it girls can do it all. Now it's time to slay and save the world. What does that mean? I'll take the Rotten Tomato ones over the Netflix one. I'm just saying, because it comes off really cheesy.
Yeah. Like the Rotten Tomatoes would actually grab the attention of like adults more than the Netflix one. The Netflix one is literally like more gathered towards like children watching it.
Yes.
Which is funny, but okay.
So speaking of Rotten Tomatoes, on there, the critics have rated this movie a 94% Fresh Tomatoes and an 89% audience rating. Now, that was when I originally took these notes, because we were supposed to record this previously, as we talked about at the beginning of this episode. So the update from this morning, as we're recording this, now it is at a 96 Fresh Tomatoes and a 90% audience rating.
Hey,
and like even the audience rating, like it has like 10,000 like ratings of people like, you know, commenting or like giving reviews on Rotten Tomatoes. That's a lot.
You know what? I need to go be one of them. Put my first rating on a movie on Rotten Tomatoes, because I've never done that. So hell yeah.
Oh my God. So yes, this movie does have, you know, one of the intricate things about it is the music and the soundtrack, obviously. So the soundtrack's original songs were written by, now let me say this also, I apologize in advance for any names I may mispronounce. I'm going off reading them. I usually need to hear like, what's the word? Phonetically? No, sonically? What is the word where you have to hear it on how it's pronounced? What is that?
Girl, it's too early.
Okay. I have to hear what it sounds like to get the pronunciation. So I apologize. And that even goes for later on when I say Korean words, because if y'all been listening to us for a while, I go on and off on my study, trying to pick it back up again. Yes, because BTS has returned. So I apologize for mispronouncing and butchering any Korean words I say. But let's get back to these names. So the soundtrack was written by Danny Chung. I believe this is Ito, Vince,
Kush?
Yes, Kush, EJ, Jenna Andrews, Stefan Kirk. I think this is like German or something. Lindgren?
Yeah, I think so.
Mark Sonnenblick?
Mm-hmm.
And Daniel, I don't know if this is Spanish. Is it like Rojas?
Yeah, Daniel Rojas. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
That's Spanish. Yeah.
Okay. And it is also produced by Teddy Park, 24, Ito, Domin Shook. I believe that's Korean. Jenna Andrews, Stefan Kirk, Lindgren, and Ian Eisendrath. And one of the songs on there, I said lead single, but I don't think it's technically the lead single in this movie. But one of the songs, Takedown, also has a version that is performed by Jonghyun, Jiho, and Chaeyoung from the group Twice. And learning about all the behind the scenes things, I had saw the creator had said when they got Twice on board for this, they actually asked the girls like what song they wanted to cover, and they all chose Takedown. So that's why they do their own version of it. And also, too, since they brought them on there, they added the group song Strategy onto the soundtrack. And Strategy was the comeback for Twice before this recent one that came out on July 11th. So the version that's on there is the version with just the group, not the one with Megan Thee Stallion, because there is a version with Megan featuring on the song Strategy, just to let people know if they're not into Twice like that. So, and plus two, like they actually do incorporate Twice a lot in the movie, which I thought was interesting. Like, I'm getting ahead of myself, but there is a scene where like they're looking at the chart and it shows the song like Strategy Twice on there. Yes, you see Twice, like the only actual group in real life and not made up. And like there is pictures of them throughout the movie as well. Like it's really cute. So now I'm pretty sure Lala already knows this, but I have a question for you. Do the names Teddy Park 24 and the other one that we couldn't pronounce, Dominshik, sound familiar? Because they all have something in common.
Don't they all like work for Black Label and like are
correct? Ding 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 ding. So yes, and Teddy Park is he's the CEO of it now.
Okay, that part I didn't know.
So obviously he came from like a group back in the day. I don't know if he did any solo work. I'm assuming he did. And then for the longest time, he was like one of the main producers under YG Entertainment. So like he worked with, like 21. That was also one of his big groups. And then like Blackpink. And then he ended up taking over for the Black Label, which I still get confused if it's technically a subsidiary under YG Entertainment or if like they bought enough shares to separate from YG. But I think YG still has shares in the Black Label. It's very confusing. But yes, he's basically in charge of Black Label.
Wouldn't YG also be kind of like Hybe? Like distributes their merch and all that stuff, and then the Black Label just does the music? Or is YG also like a music label?
Well, they're a music label. Hybe is its own beast. So think of like if YG was under Hybe, but they're still their own music label. Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
I don't know much about the business side. That shit gets confusing for me, but they're their own music label. Yes.
I'll have to take a look at that stuff. But yeah. Okay.
Yes.
That makes more sense.
And there was a station head that some of the creators did do, like, I think sometime last week. I didn't catch all of it. I only caught like a few snippets because I was doing things. But they also like emphasize that they wanted a very K-pop sounding song to introduce the movie. So like the Black Label and Teddy Park, they were the ones that created the song How It's Done.
Okay. I have some. Okay.
Oh, I mean, I can say it out loud. Like, why aren't you guys creating music like this for your own groups? But we'll just keep it at that.
Yes.
I'll say it. I don't care.
You read it. Yeah.
Because when I found that out, I was like, Teddy Park, because the way he gets criticized so much for a lot of the Blackpink songs he's in charge of, and they all sounding the same, but you're able to make something like this? I'll say it. I don't care.
I'm shocked by that. Because, like, what do you mean?
And even when he used to work
you're going to help, like...
when he used to work for 21, like, he there's a lot of songs I didn't realize he worked on, but the difference is they sound so different from each other. Unless you looked at the credits, you wouldn't know. Compared to whatever was happening with Blackpink, it's like every time you heard a song, everyone's so quick to be like, oh, well, there goes Teddy.
And that's the crazy part, because there's certain songs that he's done, like with the girls from Blackpink, like separately on like their like solo project, that have killed it. So like one of my favorite songs from Rose is On the Ground. And he was part of the production of it and the lyrics. So it's kind of like, dude, you can do it. How are we not doing this for the group itself for Blackpink?
I don't know.
Anyways.
Well, since he's now part of the Black label, I don't know if he really works with them like that anymore. But he, you know, he has his own groups now, like the Meow Group, the All Day Project, which we're not going to talk about.
I know that Blackpink just released a song too, so I have to go look at the credits to see if he's in it, because they just dropped a song and I don't know if like who's on it, like whose names are all on it. So that'd be interesting to see, which obviously clearly is what you're doing right now.
He is. I see Teddy right there. Also, Diplo. Did not know Diplo was part of this song.
I haven't listened to it, so I'm going to have to take a listen to it after we're done recording.
It makes sense now that I see his name. But yeah, even the 24 person that I mentioned is
on there.
He's on here. Yeah.
Damn, they have a lot of people part of the credits for writing the song.
But yes, and these songs are clearly being beloved all over. So on July 2nd, it was revealed that the soundtrack for K-pop Demon Hunters debuted at number 8 on the Billboard 200 music chart. And I believe that is globally. Yeah, I think the 200 charts, they separated from like US only and globally. So this one was for globally. And on the Billboard Hot 100 for the States, Your Idol by the Saja Boys debuted at 77 and Golden was at 81. On July 3rd, the Saja Boys reached number 1 on the US Spotify chart with Your Idol, and Golden reached number 2. And there's a lot of arguments going on right now that we don't have time to talk about, but it's interesting how like they keep referring to them like as an actual K-pop group, and there's a lot of emphasis being on like they're the first K-pop boy and girl group to do this and like surpassing BTS and Blackpink, which is like, I get it, but like they're also not like a real group. Just because this is for a movie, I feel like that's kind of taking away from like the actual singers playing these characters, like their credits, and you're only crediting like, you know, Huntrix or Saja Boys. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, I get it, but as I also see it as they're picking fun at the fact that it had to be a movie setting soundtrack that beats, quotation marks, beats BTS on their number 1 spot compared to being like all the other K-pop groups that we have.
That's messy.
Because no other, it is, but that's literally what they're going at. That's literally what they're going at, though. At least that's the way that I take it, that they're just poking fun at all the other groups. Like, how is it that an animation movie, you know, an animation fake K-pop groups are the ones to surpass BTS, but the rest of you guys can't, type of thing.
Yeah, I have nothing to comment on that because I feel like no matter what I say, that comes off very shady. But yes, so would you look it up? Because I know the stands, they're always fighting, but they've definitely been fighting for this. So I've just been watching it all. This is one of the things where I'm just like, I have no opinion on this.
Yeah.
As I also continue with the streams. Like, I've obviously been contributing.
Exactly. Which is why I said, like, obviously in Discord yesterday, I ended up saying, like, it's funny how this movie will be the introduction for a lot of people into K-pop. Because, again, you know, this was distributed through Netflix, which honestly, Sonic Animations, man, you did it. Because, like, that was a smart move, one.
You say Sonic?
Sony.
Sony. It sounded like you were saying Sonic. That's why I did say Sonic.
I think I do accidentally say Sonic for some reason. Anyways,
it's okay.
Ignore
did they do Sonic the Hedgehog? Now that you said the word Sonic?
I think they did. I don't know.
Because that one is like animation meets, you know, like 2D? Real life. One of those type of movies. Oh, no, that's done by Paramount Pictures. Anyway.
They did a very smart move, though, by distributing this on Netflix because it did get access to everyone. So like now everyone's like listening to the music. And it's like people that don't even listen to K-pop are also listening to the soundtrack.
Right. I've seen these songs used in so many TikTok edits now. Not even K-pop ones. Like I've seen it this morning used for Avengers, this morning for like anime, like Jujutsu Kaisen. What else was a big one I saw for the Spider-Verse? Like, yeah.
It's being used everywhere. And even like the day-to-day, some people just like jamming it while they're doing their day-to-day like stuff. So it's like a lot of people are listening to it, which is the reason why they're charting the way they're charting.
Yes, because an update from that I also looked up this morning. So like this week of charting, Golden has hit number 1 on Spotify's daily top songs global chart on this past Thursday. And Your Idol is at number 2 on the US Spotify chart. So we saved the honeymoon, guys. We did it. 100X is above the Saja Boys. The honeymoon is safe for now. And then on Billboard Hot 100s, Golden is at 23. Your Idol is at 31. How It's Done is at 42. Soda Pop is at 48. What It Sounds Like is at 55. Free is at 58. And Takedown is at 64.
I'm just actually surprised that almost every song on that soundtrack is in the 100.
I mean, it pretty much is, except for like the 3 songs that are used for like, I don't want to say background music, but
I know, but it's technically what it is.
Yeah. So besides those 3 songs, it pretty much is all the
whole soundtrack.
Yeah.
Crazy.
It's crazy. Okay, so let us get into the creators behind this film, starting with our main creator who came up with this idea for the story about 7 years ago. I believe she said almost a decade, but I think I saw her say 7 years ago. Maggie. Now, I think it depends how you pronounce it. And I know she's either Korean American or she's Korean Canadian. She's one of those two.
Korean Canadian.
It's either is it Canadian?
It's
okay.
Canadian.
So I'm not sure if she pronounces as Maggie Kang, which I've heard in the interviews, or if it's like Maggie Kong, which is how you actually pronounce it in Korean. So either one, I don't know. I'm sure with her growing up, she is used to the way, like people in the West pronounce it. So, but anyway, she wanted to make a film set in Korean culture. So she delved into the mythology and demonology for something that could be visually unique and compared to other mainstream media. She also calls this film her love letter to K-pop and her Korean roots. I also do want to point out, because I don't think I wrote this down, she has said multiple times the K-pop is actually the last element that they put into this movie. The whole point really was to just like find a way to like show off Korean culture as well as like uplift women through Korean culture, and in some way of just like, like making them badass, but also, like women that are relatable in like real life and things like that. And then I guess, in the modern day, a good way to like tie that in together is through K-pop. So the main thing wasn't K-pop initially, but that was just added last to like make everything come together. Her influence was actually from the famous Korean director Bong Joon-ho, which I'm sure many people, especially in the West, are familiar with his work, Paradise, that came out in 2019. That's the one at least we are the most familiar with, but he's been a director forever. So he's also done a lot of Western movies too. Like I know that one with one of the Chris's, which Chris is it? Chris Evans, that movie Snowpiercer. I don't know if you know about that movie or not. Yeah, so he directed that as well.
One. Oh, okay.
She was inspired by how he juggles so many different tones in his film so that they felt very animated. And then for the animation style, Kong and Chris Applehans, which we'll talk about in a second, were also inspired by Sony's Spider-Verse films, which featured a hybrid of 2D and 3D style. So like how you brought that up earlier, Lala. The way for them to animate this film was inspired by the Spider-Verse. And then they decided to pull away from the typical 2D elements and go for a style with the aim of a CG version of anime. And then for the character design, Kong wanted to get away from the stereotypical Marvel female superheroes that were just sexy and cool and badass. She wanted to have like girls who were fun, had pot bellies, even though they didn't have pot bellies, but it's fine. Burp, they were crass, silly, and fun. She also explained when it came to the history of demon hunters, they decided to play into the shaman women from Korean culture, as historically these women would sing and dance to protect their village and their communities. Hold on to that, because I'm going to talk about that a lot towards the end of this. And I do want to bring this up because this was also, especially in the K-pop community, especially when people were really getting into it, huge debates on, and I just need to say this to clear all this up. So on her actual Twitter and X page, because I started following her, she had quoted a tweet from one of those, like news pages or whatever. And they had said, like, I think they had specifically said like specifically Jennie from Blackpink was the inspiration of Rumi. And of course, from her quote tweet fans got upset. However, Rumi's not the only one where people are like, oh, this character was based on this specific idol. And then like there's people saying like Cha Eun was the inspiration for Jinu. So this is a direct quote from her where she says Rumi was inspired by many leading ladies, some not even K-pop. Names are going around, individual idols and groups, because we only said yes as they were mentioned by the interviewers to us. But a list of inspo for both Huntrix and Soulja Boys is endless. And then this has been clarified by us to press. And also, since we're recording this later to back it up, I'm not sure if you know of the solo artist who used to be called Alexa. I know she's going through a lot of things with her label, and I don't know if she goes by that name anymore. I think her real name is Alex. But anyway, just like how Kiho from P1 Harmony had revealed in a live that like he actually did audition for this movie. So did she. And it was to the point where she was like actually getting like callbacks and stuff. I don't know if she auditioned to sing or actually be the voice actress, but she had even said in the live I saw a clip of where when she went to a boarding room to like meet the creators, they had like on their storyboard like a bunch of K-pop, idols and like styles they may have wore and eras, and like her pictures were up there from her era because she used to do like this, I don't know what you would consider it, like sci-fi theme in her music when she first came out, like futuristic, and like how I think she was technically supposed to be like a robot warrior or something like that. I don't remember fully, but yes. So just to let everybody know, the inspiration can be many, many idols that they're pulled from. So whoever you think you see in them, that's on you. But there's no one specific idol that any of these characters are based off of.
And I really want to clarify this too for a lot of people that are watching this movie. Like, you take what you can from this movie, you interpret it the way that it sits with you. And that's including the characters. Like, if you see certain idols or certain actors or actresses, however, in this movie, then that's your interpretation. And you have the right for that interpretation. But it doesn't mean that you need to go online and say, no, this is what this character was based on. No, it wasn't. And we got the clarification from the maker itself. Like, exactly. Respect that, please.
So, and it's all supposed to be fun. This is all supposed to be fun and games of being like, oh, they remind me of this idol. Like, let's go back to having fun, guys. Don't make it so serious.
Yeah. Like, if you're just having fun with it and it's reminding you of an idol, and obviously there's like a specific, like, there's two specific scenes where I get reminded of an idol of mine with one of the characters. Like, I do it as just for fun, where it's all like, oh, and like, it just makes me remember of an idol, but then that's it. Like, the movie continues on and I take from the movie, like, I'm not going to be like, oh, this is exactly this person. Like, no, it's an animation, for crying out loud. Just enjoy it.
Exactly. All right. So the directors of the movie is Maggie Kong herself and Chris Applehans. I believe I'm saying that correctly from what I've heard. And he had also worked previously on a 2021 animated film called The Wish Dragon, which is also on Netflix. I actually watched it. It's pretty cute. So if you have time to watch it, I would also highly recommend that, because when he finished doing that, he was actually apparently supposed to like go on a break until Maggie contacted him, excuse me. to see if he wanted to work on K-pop Demon Hunters, and he was immediately like, yes, because, you know, he's interested. He seems like, because I believe he's white, he seems like a guy who's interested in, like, you know, Asian cultures and things of that nature. And he said, like, he's really also into K-pop, so he was like an immediate yes, and it'd be a good challenge for him. And then the screenplay writers is Maggie Kong, Chris Applehans, Danya Menez, and Hannah Mekcon?
Yeah, you're on your own on that one.
Okay, I apologize. Listen, all of my references and notes, all the links are in the description box so y'all can see what they're spelled, okay? I'm trying my best. All right, so let us get into the cast, starting with the leading ladies of Huntrix. So first, we have our lead vocalist and leader of Huntrix, Rumi. And her sword in the movie is a Cyangom sword, which I'll talk about in a minute. She's voiced by Arden Cho, and the singing voice for Rumi is EJ. So her weapon, a Cyangom sword, is the Four Tigers sword, a ritual blade used during the Jones Dynasty. 4 cardinal directions are guided by 4 mystic tigers, and this sword symbolizes their protective strength. And the sword was not just used as like a battle prop, but it also has spiritual significance and was used in shamanic rituals to ward off evil. So we have Arden Cho, who is an actress. She's been in the game for a while. If you're like my age and generation, we know her best from Kira from Teen Wolf. Justice for Kira, okay? I am so happy every time I see Arden Cho thrive because they did her so dirty. And I'ma say it. Love seeing her. I love me some Arden Cho, okay? And I was also surprised, aside from Teen Wolf, that you didn't recognize her because she also plays June in the recent live action remake of Avatar: The Last Airbender. That's her. And you actually like it. Okay. I don't. Which we've done.
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't mind it. I prefer the animation. Chris does the one that likes the live action one.
I got confused. I apologize.
Don't you be twisting it, girl.
Memory was misconstrued, okay? I apologize. But yes.
I'm going to correct that one.
And the live action remake, she plays Jude, which is, you know, the hunter, how they find Aang and all of them. They changed it in the live action, but yeah. And then we have EJ, who real name is Kim Eun Jae. So she is South Korean, and she's a South Korean and American singer, songwriter, and record producer. She was born in Korea, though, and then like was going back and forth from like the States to Korea for her education. Fun fact, she actually trained at SM Entertainment for 10 years and was supposed to debut in a group, but the debut actually failed with the group, and I guess as a solo artist too. And unfortunately, this is what I'm getting from my research. So allegedly, they had considered her too old to debut. Now, I've complained about the ages in K-pop for a while. I want to know what they consider too old, because she's currently only 33 years old. So how old was she back then to where they considered her too old to debut? Is my question. Because I was seeing people say if she did debut in a group, it would have been in a group, like she would have been the seniors for Girls' Generation. And I know they were all around like 16, 17, I think, at the time they debuted. So how old was she when they considered her too old? SM. My many problems with you already. But anyway, this led her moving to the US full time. And thankfully, that didn't stop her from being in the music industry in general. So she has tons of credits in writing, producing, and also providing backup vocals. So there's some K-pop songs where, like, if you pay attention to the backup vocals, it is actually her singing. And some songs listed were Red Velvet Cycle, which is like the biggest one, because it was a very popular song when it came out in 2019. And their song Birthday, Twice's Last Waltz, aespa, Drama, and Armageddon, NMIX's debut Oh, and their song Dice, and Cards, Breakdown, and Icky, just to name a few. There's a full list on Wikipedia. I also like how they broke it down to where like they highlighted which songs like she just produced and wrote for and which ones she actually provided her vocals on. So you can go on Wikipedia for that. But I'm happy for her. Okay. She's finally getting her shine. Okay. So now we're moving on to Mira, who is the visual and main dancer of Huntrix. And her weapon is a Oldo. I should have found the Korean writing for this because I know I'm mispronouncing it. However, she is voiced by Mei Hong and her singing voice is by Audrey Nuna. Waldo literally means moonblade, a Korean pole arm that closely resembles the Chinese. I know I'm going to mispronounce this. Guando, but it's proportionally smaller. It was also typically used by the medieval Silian warriors class, the Hwadong. Now, Lala, does the name Hwadong sound familiar to you? As an army. That should be the big hit, as an army.
No.
So they were real warriors back then, but they made a drama out of it. I think they were considered like the pretty boy warriors, if I'm remembering correctly. And I mentioned army because that's the drama that Tae was in with other idols. And that's how he, found the Wooga squad. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
See, so my mind was completely going somewhere else, but okay.
Okay. There's a whole drama on that if y'all want to know more about that. So the actress and voice Mei Hong, her most recent projects before Demon Hunters was a TV show called Phantasmus and Full Circle. Now, when I looked on IMDb, I always mispronounce that. I think those are all the letters. There are small roles, but those are things she's credited for. And then Audrey Nuna, who is a musician, which I've heard of her before. And I believe it was actually Jungkook when he used to have an Instagram that he had shared her most popular song at that time, Damn Right. Because I know, obviously Namjoon shares a lot of music, but I do believe it was actually Jungkook. He either shared it on when he used to have an Instagram or he mentioned it in a live. If my memory isn't playing,
was it Instagram? Instagram, because there was a point in time where he was sharing some of his music because I discovered a couple artists through him as well. So,
okay.
And so that was when he used to have an Instagram, which, by the way, JK, can you make a new Instagram? Anyways, keep going.
Okay. I won't comment on that. So her last album came out in 2024 called Trench, which I did listen to. Recommend. I think you would like it, Lala.
Ooh, okay.
It's a lot of songs, but the songs are very short, just to let you know.
Can I just say that I don't like how that's happening to certain artists are deciding to make shorter music. Can we not?
I know.
I think that's the reason also why I've been kind of sticking with 17, because even their newest album that they released, it's still almost close to 3-minute long songs. So I'm grateful for that. Don't change that, please. And this is also for our BTS people and our BTS group. Please don't shorten your music. Please
I hope not.
I really hope not.
All right. But last and certainly not least, we have Zoe, who is the main rapper and magnate of Huntrix. She is Korean American from Burbank and wields throwing knives or Shinkao, voiced by Jeong Yu, and the singing voice is Ray Ami. And can I mention, I'm just going to mention it now. It's funny because when I was watching this, they say in the movie, she's the magnate of the group. And I'm like, do the American audience know what a magnate is? Because they don't explain it in the movie. They're just she's the magnate of the group.
Hey, time to look it up. Again, it's a really smart way of having people look into the culture, and whether it's the culture, whether it's in K-pop, because if you're getting introduced to K-pop, you very quickly start learning that you have the Hyungs and then you have the maknae lines. You know what I mean? So you start learning a lot of things. So no, it shouldn't be given to you.
Because it was funny too. I came across a tweet when they were saying we don't actually know these characters' last name. And people were saying Rumi's last name is Nim from when she went to the doctor's office. And I'm glad people were in their comments correcting them. They're Nim is an honorific. That's not actually her last name. So it's just, little things like that to where I didn't even know when I first got into K-pop that I end up learning later on. So it's just a way of highly polite way of like referring to her as like, you know, either Mr. or Mrs. So
yeah, again, we all had to learn one way or another getting into the world of K-pop. Okay, so everybody else has to too. So not saying that it needs to be difficult for them to learn, but if you want to do the research, you can do the research. That's all. Also, Zoe's my favorite.
Zoe's very cute. Zoe's actually the one where if Alexa did get this part, I can see her playing her in some way. I was actually envisioning her as Zoe. So back to Zoe's weapon. The Shinkao or spirit knife is used in a gut to fight evil spirits. I will come back once again to gut later on. In the film, it's a summonable dagger, echoing the real life ritual where shamans cast the knife towards evil, then reclaim it to restore spiritual balance. The actress Jeong Yu most recent projects before the film were Until Dawn and a TV miniseries called Expat. And then Ray Ami is a musician under the indie pop category. Her latest EP is called Shush that came out in 2023. And I actually shared one of her songs on our new thing we're trying on social media, the Music Monday thing. So I like her EP. Hopefully this gives her enough like attention to make more music. I actually really enjoy her music. It's like a grungier pop version if you like someone like BB. So if people know who BB is, just a more like grungier version of pop.
I think this will be a really good thing for not only the actors, the voice actors, but also for like the musicians that are in here. I think this will help them out. So
I agree. And then each member are wearing a traditional Korean pendant on their clothes called a norige, which is usually worn by Korean women on their hanbok to represent good luck, prosperity, and or protection, depending on the pendant's design. Alrighty, so let's get on to the Demon Boys, our Saja Boys. So Saja Boys' name actually comes from the Korean word Jongsung Saja, which are Korean's versions of the Grim Reaper, also known as Messenger of Death or Death Angels. They escort souls, both good and bad, from the physical world to the netherworld, enforce death's law, and maintain order for the deceased. Unlike the single Grim Reaper in Western lore, the Jongsung Saja are a class of spectacle bureaucrats responsible for this task. They embody cultural beliefs about death and the transition to the afterlife. They are traditionally depicted as imposing figures dressed entirely in black, adored in hanbok, with a wide-brimmed black hat known as a gat to add their authoritative presence. The Jongsung Saja is also commonly depicted as a male figure with pale complexion and sunken eyes. And Saja also means lion. So that's why their representative animal in the show is a lion, which is on their light stick, and why their fandom is called the Pride. And did it take me like maybe 2 or 3 more watches to realize that? Yeah, because I kept wondering, like, why are they called the Pride? Like, why do they keep saying join the Pride? And what does a lion have to do with them being Grim Reapers? But yeah, it was supposed to be a play on words for words. Those two meanings. Yeah. I meant to move this up. So she is not part of the Saja Boys, but I have Celine here in here as well. I should have put her with talking about the girls, but it's fine. So I guess she's considered Rumi's foster mother. Like, I don't know if she officially adopted her, but she raised her. And she's a former demon hunter and K-pop star with Rumi's mother for the group Sunlight Sisters. And she's voiced by Yoojin Kim. Just to mention her, because she's also plays a role. But back to the actual Saja Boys. We have our leader and everyone's favorite, who's been hard eyes all over my timeline, is Jinu. He's also a demon with a past that haunts him. He has befriended a demon tiger and a magpie who normally follows him around and acts as a messenger for him. And his voice actor is An Hyo Sop. And his singing voice is Andrew Choi. Either Choi or Che, because I've heard it pronounced Che as well. An Hyo Sop is a Korean actor whose latest projects were A Time Called You and Business Proposal, which I didn't know he was in Business Proposal. When I first saw that, I'm like, wait, who did he play? And then when I saw he was the lead, I was like,
yes,
that's why I liked you so much.
Yes. 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 Oh my God. When I found out that he was the voice, I was all like, okay, now I get it. Because I love Business Proposal. That is my absolute favorite K-drama. And it's just, that's another one that I can watch at any point.
Mm-hmm, and it's funny because I came across an interview that I sent you last night. Maggie talking. I think she said the same thing. She said she was watching Business Proposal and saw him. And she was like, that has to be our
she got the inspiration. So she was very happy that he accepted to or that he what's the word that I'm looking for? Decided that he wanted to be a part of it and actually and accepted the role. I'm blanking out. It's
fine. It's early for us. It's okay. Because that also led me to find out he's Korean Canadian as well. I guess he moved to Canada when he was young and then moved back to Korea around 17 or so. Because fun fact, again, allegedly, I'm going off what I found. Apparently, he was supposed to be, he has trained to be a K-pop idol as well, is what I found out. And allegedly didn't debut on the account of being too tall. Allegedly. That's what I said. He's 6'3", apparently. Because guess what group he would have been in that I was seeing online?
What group?
GOT7. He was one of the contestants, apparently. Again, I need to do more research to make sure this is true.
Don't
but apparently,
they have someone that's
what I said.
Over, why does that matter?
I'm like, is it Yugi up 6 foot, 6'1"? And so is Bam Bam.
Yeah, I was gonna say, what do you mean?
I don't know. Yeah.
Have we not seen how tall some of these fucking younger ones are? Anyways, you know what? It's fine.
Subin is from TXT. I'm like, why?
Nikki so from freaking and Hyphen. He's the tallest one and he's the youngest one. He's only 21, 20? 21, 20, 20.
How tall
and he's
is he?
Tall as shit. He's 6'2", 6'3".
But I know isn't Nikki Japanese though, right? He's not Korean, is he? Okay. No, but still, it's just funny because I do remember. Yeah, I remember coming off TikToks of Korean Americans I followed. Even they were saying how this newer generation, for some reason, Koreans are getting taller.
Okay, I'm corrected. Nikki is 6 foot. Still.
He's still in the 6 foot range though.
Exactly. What is the difference between, because how tall is he? What, 6'3"? How tall is I don't understand why did that matter? Or was it because he was so tall at a young age? Anyways, whatever.
This is a different era, okay? Remember, if he debuted, he would have debuted around 2000, because GOT7 debuted in 2014. So times have changed in that aspect, thankfully. You know what? We've been doing a lot of research during this. Hang on. He's 30. 1995. He's 6'2".
I guess it depends on how tall he was when he was young. Maybe that's why.
I don't know.
Because you have to remember too, and I hate that this is going to come out of my mouth right now, but the boyish looks is what every record label was looking for when it came to debuting. So obviously, if you're super tall at a young age, okay, I see where they're coming from. I don't agree with it, but whatever. Anyways.
Like I said, Lala, this is about 10 plus years ago. So anyway, he found a career in acting. That's all that matters. Choi? Andrew Che, which I guess is his American name, because I also came across the name Chae Sung-kyun. So he's a Korean singer and composer signed under SM, and he's a soloist. So his first and really only album came out back in 2013 called Love Was Enough. But he has songwriting credits on songs like NCT's Whiplash, Taemin's Guess Who, and Monsta X Disaster. And I know there was other songs too, but those are just the ones I wrote down. And then also his companions, Tiger and the Magpie, which the tiger's name is Derpy. And I don't know how to pronounce it. It's Sussy?
I think they were saying Sussy.
That's how you pronounce the bird's name?
I think that's how he was pronounced. I think that's how it was being pronounced in the movie, too.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure. But they're both based off of Minhwa, which is a style of Korean folk art, like popular during the Joseon Dynasty, with the Hojakdo genre specializing in images of tigers, magpies, and pine trees. And I know, again, I've linked everything, but I believe that era was special because it was the first time like regular common folks was able to get into like the arts and not just like higher lords. It's more political than I really realized it was. So again, I have a bunch of links y'all can look into if you're really interested. But and there's a famous like picture you'll see in one of the links that like you can tell looks like Derpy and Sussy. So Derpy's bright blue hue also was like to give him a more magical feel. And so he didn't come off as a sidekick. That's why they gave him the role of like being sort of like a mailbox between the two characters to communicate. And the bird just follows him around. All right. And then the rest of the members, we have Romance Saja, who was voiced by Joel Kim Booster and sung by Samuel Lee. Mystery Saja was voiced by Alan Lee and sung by Kevin Wu, who we also have someone who used to be in the K-pop industry. He used to be in a boy group called U-Kiss. Abs or Abby's voiced by Sunghoon Cho, and the singing voice is Neckwave. Baby Saja, because I didn't realize he don't talk at all, but his singing / rapping voice is by Danny, I think, spell check, I believe it's Chong,
yeah,
yes. And Bobby was voiced by, Bobby is not part of the Saja Boys. After Baby Saja, that's all the Saja Boys. Bobby, who is the manager of the Huntrix, is voiced by Ken Jeong. Yes, who's very, very famous when you actually see him. He's been in a lot of things. I feel like most famously, maybe The Hangover.
Yes, The Hangover. And then obviously the biggest, like, I don't want to call it reality show, but like music competition would be Masked Singer. I think that's what it's called.
Which is also derived from the Korean reality show Masked Singer. That's where they got it from. So, yes. And I know that one TV show, I think it's called like Community or something like that. He's been in a lot of things. He'll also just appear in movies and stuff. So I'm sure y'all have seen him.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes.
He comes and goes whenever he wants.
Yeah, pretty much. But he makes so much money, so it's fine.
Yeah.
And then last but certainly not least, we have our main villain, who is Guima, the Demon King, the Big Fire, corrupts humanity. He's voiced by Lee Byung-hyun, who is a well-known Korean actor currently right now. He's featured in Squid Games as the frontman, listed Mr. Sunshine, and many more Korean and American films, because I believe I saw credits of some Marvel films as well that he was in that I didn't realize. But then fun fact, too, he also voices Guima in the Korean version of this movie.
Nice. Okay.
Yeah, so he does both. All right, y'all. So that is basically like, I was going to say history.
Introduction to the characters and basically the background of the creation of the movie.
Thank you, Lala.
Okay.
So this is when we're going to actually get into the movie. So if you have not seen it, turn us off now. Go watch this movie and then come back. Or if you just want to listen to us and listen to our opinions and plot points, you can. But also go still watch this movie. Okay?
Such a good movie. So please do watch it. You will enjoy it.
I mean, honestly,
people. Yeah.
It's just your basic people that just hate everything when they're talking about like, oh, this is just cheesy because it's for kids. The music sucks. And then like they're saying like it's a bad representation of like K-pop, blah, blah, blah. And my only opinion is it's just those people that just hate fun.
Yeah, pretty much. But at the same time, like some people might be hesitant because I think you said you were hesitant to watch it.
Yes, and that's just because, especially in the West and how has K-pop gotten so popular, anything labeled K-pop, as a K-pop listener in the West, where it's still, people know about it, but it's still stigmatized, and we're not going to pretend it's not. So anything that has a K-pop label, we automatically assume like it's just people making fun of it or like doing the most stereotypical like satire of K-pop in the world. So I was hesitant, and it took like you think it took Gina and it took my friend Brianna to finally text me, be like, have you seen K-pop Demon Hunters? I was like, oh my God, I'll finally watch this. Fine. So
it's the same thing with Sen, because Sen like went into the group chat, the group chat that I have. And she's all like, okay, what the hell is this? Like, is it good? I was like, girl, you need to watch it. Like, you need to watch it right now. Like, it's so good. Like, it's not the cheesy shit that you think it would be. Like, watch it. You're going to enjoy it. I'm like, the message and the meaning behind it is really good. I'm like, and the music is a bop. Like, you will walk away, like, wanting to jam out to the music. So.
All right. So we're going to go ahead and open up the movie with a crowd in a ginormous stadium chanting the name Huntrix. During this, we also get a voiceover of a woman that we later will learn is Celine, giving a brief history about how the Huntrix came to be and their secret identity. So I have a direct quote from the movie. So she says, demons have always hunted our world, stealing our souls and channeling strength back to their king, Guima, until heroes rose to defend us. Born with voices that can drive back the darkness, singing songs of courage and hope, the hunters are more than warriors. Our music ignites the soul and brings people together. With this connection, the first hunters created a shield to protect our world, the Hunmoon. Every generation, a new trio is chosen to fulfill our ultimate duty, a barrier so strong that is impenetrable. Yes, that's the word. That will keep demons and Guima from our world forever, the Golden Hunmoon. And then after that, we switch over to Celine telling them the story to our new trio, Rumi, Mira, and Zoe, and how it's their turn to carry on this duty. And it is their duty and voices that will create the Golden Hunmoon. And where Celine is telling the story to our new hunters and the audience is in front of a sacred tree or the Dangsan Namu. So there's actually many forms of like sacred shrines and places in Korea, and therefore communities' periodic rituals for protection, prosperity, and a good harvest. Now, I don't know if it's like that in today's time because of, like modern day and all that, but back then it was. Not really sure about now, just because, obviously don't live in Korea. The spirit trees are distinguished by having a left-twisted straw rope, which is called a gumchul. And they signify sacred nature, often festooned with stripes of white mulberry paper, white cloth, or streamers of 5-colored cloth, which is also referenced as the osekchon.
I have a feeling that they still have certain areas like this.
Yeah, like I've seen in dramas. There. Yeah, I've seen in dramas of like, especially these trees, like they're still up, obviously. Mm-hmm. And I never knew what they were for. But now I do. So I just don't know if people still go to them to like, do rituals or pray and things of that nature. I'm maybe in like smaller towns. I wouldn't be surprised, like not big cities,
I think either people in like smaller towns or people that are still like the older generation. I can see that still doing that. Right. And teaching or trying to teach like the younger generations to do that because it's something traditional. And I don't know if we want to say religious, but it's spiritual nonetheless.
It's spiritual because there's a lot of, especially now, because again, moderation, war, colonialism, all that. There's different religions in Korea. I do know a majority of them don't have a religion. Most of the charts I found says like 51%. I guess you considered atheists, so they don't really believe in any type of religion. I believe the second highest one is Christianity for the things I mentioned earlier. And then, of course, like Buddhism is a big one. And I think Buddhism and shamanism is separate. And Confucianism, I always mispronounce that. Because Confucianism was really big back in the Jones dynasty. So... I mean, that whole thing could be a whole separate episode, but yeah, those are things I can remember off the top of my head from like previous research of like discussions we've had and things of that nature. And also just for looking this up as well when it came to like the religion and spirituality, because I'll bring that up too. Just because from talks online, you can tell we're looking at it at a Western lens and like our backgrounds of our specific religions, especially like Christianity, compared to what the spirituality of this is based on due to like the Korean history. So, all right. So we are back to the stadium for the Huntrix final show of the world tour. And we have fans, you know, introducing each member, talking about them, their roles in the group, why certain fans have a specific member as their favorite, or, you know, what we call them in the K-pop world, biases, and how they're sad that this is the last concert before they take a 3-month break, but they're excited for them and they need the break. That's one part where I was like, oh, this is fantasy. Listen, I don't know how many people actually be like, oh yeah, they need a break. They really need it to compare to where like they're demanding music every like 2 to 3 months. So that's why I was like, so this is the first part where I was like, okay, so this is the fiction part. Got it.
I mean, can we really say that though? Because like, there's still like a really good amount, like us in Discord and everything like that agree that certain groups need to like freaking take a break.
Yes, but I don't know how that's like for the majority is what I'm saying. I also don't know what it's like for Korea and their mindset when it comes to comebacks like that either. So especially I see it on a Western side. Yeah, I don't know what it's like for the Korean side and who like the majority and minority when it comes to things like that.
Yeah, I can see that.
So that's why I make the joke of like, oh, so that's the fiction part of saying like, oh, well, they're going on a 3-month break, but they really deserve it. And we're going to miss them because we think like that. I don't know how many other people think like that. But the show was about to start in literal minutes, and their manager, Bobby, notices that the girls aren't there yet, which another thing I was like, so y'all are going to wear no dress rehearsal? No, like, okay, we're going to start the show in a few minutes and the girls aren't even there. Cool. Mm-hmm. Never happened in real life. But he pulls out his phone, and also another thing, they have their own private jet. Like, how rich are they?
I mean, they've been doing it for 3 years, at least from what it says in the movies.
But real groups don't even have private jets where their group's name is. I know. I'm blurring the lines between animation and real life. I'm just saying.
No. It's not even that. It's more or less like you also have to remember that these 3 girls are demon hunters, and it happens every generation. So I'm pretty sure there's a certain wealth that gets put into place.
It's just wild to me, though, how it's displayed, the wealth, because I've never seen anyone have like their own, again, private jet with literally the logo of the group on there. Yeah. So, but he notices their jet is going in the opposite direction of the stadium. So then he FaceTimes roomies to let them know that they're off course. And then obviously, while they're having their pre-show, what do they call it? Not the pre-show ramen, but like they're just having their pre-show snacking, indulging. Yeah. They realize that the plane has been hijacked by demons and they're trying to eat their fans' souls. So that's how we get our first song, How It's Done, during the fight scene with the demons on the plane, destroying their custom-made private jet. And that is one of my favorite scenes, like having them free fall into the stadium and then finish off there. And it's funny how like everyone believes like the demons and them free falling was like special effects.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, yes. Oh,
that girl who took a picture with the demon, she's like, great costume, and then like took a picture with him. So cute. And the creator always mentions this too in interviews, but it really was nice to like see women, especially women in K-pop, as 2 people who have been aware of the industry for a while and just know how it is. Like just to see them again, like eat, indulge. When the demons was like talking to them, they were like burping and stuff. So it's just like actually be human beings. One of them said like, in order to do this dance, they have to indulge at least 10,000 calories. I had never heard that before. It's usually the opposite of how many calories they have to lose. So it was just really nice to see that. And I don't know too, if you notice on their pre-show ramen, obviously they each have their own like ramen for them. Did you notice Zoe's had an American hat on it, like Uncle Sam? Because she's American? Go back and watch it and look at the ramen cup. Like she has a very old-fashioned, those really high American flag hats on her because she's American.
Oh my God.
But they do shit like that. So I thought that was
surprised.
like a nice detail. Yeah. It was just funny to me. Like how when they were introducing her, one of the fans was like, she's from some place called Burbank, California.
I don't even think they said California.
Did he just say Burbank?
God. It was just funny. Just said Burbank. Like
from some place called Burbank? Oh, so funny.
They hit a lot of things. Like, and I remember because when you were watching it, I had told you, I need your live reactions. You need to send me, and so you did. And they did. They really did their research on like how certain fans react.
And I do think I saw somewhere that they did actually like go to Korea, especially for like the set, like to get certain places that they were in, like accurate. But like, I feel like they went beyond to like get reactions, K-pop reactions, things like that. So once again, they did their research.
Yeah, they did. They really did.
So the demon that was disguised as a flight attendant ended up getting away. And so she goes back to the underworld. She's terrified, but she lets Guimon know that the hunters got away and that they're just too strong, upsetting him and setting her on fire, which killed her. While the demons are in despair, we hear the strum of an instrument and the voice of a male, basically giving like a rhyme and song tale about the king, who we later find out is named Jinwoo. So this is where we first meet Jinwoo. He proposes the idea to start a new strategy, defeating the hunters by using the one thing that powers the Hunmoon, the fans. Ooh, what? Or whatever that sound is. Man, the people I see on TikTok recreating that is so funny.
Oh, God. You know that certain idols are doing it now, too?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, my God.
I've seen so many boy groups do that.
Mm-hmm.
It's cute.
Oh, it is. It's so funny, though.
At first, the Demon King laughs at the idea of a demon boy band, but once like the other Saja boys basically transform into beautiful men, and the other demons are like, oh yeah, this could work. Yeah, this could totally work. And then he's like, okay, so maybe this could work. But he also asks Gino what he wants in return, claiming that he never does anything for free. And they make a deal that if this is successful, the Demon King will remove Gino's memories of his regret when he was a human. And also, I just wanted to point out, because I don't know if you know this, Lala, but that scene when Gino is singing, that actually is on Hyoso singing. Mm-hmm. That's the only time he actually, like sings in the movie. And the rest of the time, it's Andrew Che. Mm-hmm. So, plus, too, he did
you can tell.
Yeah, you can tell it's a different voice.
Yeah, because like it wasn't, I think the second time that I watched it, or maybe even the first time I even noticed, I'm like, that's a different voice that's singing right there. And that's for all of them, for all the characters, because obviously we know that it's different voices from the acting perspective, from the singing perspective. So,
and I have it linked in the description box too, but he actually did also do like a really short minute cover of Free. So he is a good singer. I do wish this part where he's singing about the Demon King, and there were some other songs too that I do wish were in the soundtrack.
Me too, but I don't think they made them long enough, which is why, and they just didn't bother to like continue the song to put it onto the song.
Yeah, but I mean, I feel like there are some movie soundtracks where they still just put them in there, even if they're like 30 seconds long. I don't know.
Yeah, it would have been nice though, because then you would have literally gotten the entire soundtrack from the entire movie. So then you can picture each scene as it's happening. Because like at least that's what I do with, that's literally what I do with The Nightmare Before Christmas. I actually can listen to the entire soundtrack and I know exactly what scene it's at.
Yeah. Because I also wish that music that was used when the Soulja Boys were introduced was in the soundtrack. One of them is, but that one we first see the four boys.
Yeah.
Yeah, I wish that song was in the soundtrack, whether if it was that short or if it was longer. So when the Huntrix comes down from the stage, they celebrate seeing the whole moon slightly turn golden, which while they were singing, and then, they get excited about that, but also get excited by their break, which they said a 2-week break, though. I wrote down 2-week break, and the girl said 3 months.
Well, if you really think about it, now let's think of it logically. Yes, the group itself for fans can take a 3-month break, but the idols might only take a 2-week break and then having to start working again to have everything up and running within the 3-month window. So we might think that idols might be taking a 3-month break, but technically they might not be. And then you have also like the advertisement that do, other things that they have to work on like the side as well. Any promotions that they have to do. So
you're right. I didn't think about that until after I asked that and then you started saying it. But we've been proven time and time, especially in real life, too, how that's the case. So also make sure you pay attention to when they do go backstage and they're in an elevator going down. I also want to know how big the stadium is. Rumi does have a short spat where she's coughing. So that's going to become very important later on. So then when we get back to their place, I also enjoyed just a tad bit, not in the notes, when Bobby was like, oh, I rented out this hotel for you guys to relax in. And she's like, oh, it's fine. We're just going to relax at home. But why don't you take the hotel room, Bobby? He's like, oh, no, I can never. I'm a 34 short in a robe. It's just like little things like that I really enjoy.
Yeah. No, Bobby's my
I love
favorite.
their relationship.
Mm-hmm. Like everyone I've been seeing lately, everyone's been like, oh, Bobby's like their father figure in their life. And it really is because he loves and supports them. So, yeah.
And also, too, the creators, I think a couple days ago had like a Q&A on Reddit. So I did see Maggie's say that she envisions Rumi and Mira to be between like 23 and 24, with Rumi being older by like 6 months. And then, Zoe's the youngest, so probably at like 22. So these are young girls, but they're like in their early 20s, which makes sense if, again, they've been doing this for about 3 to 5 years, I believe.
3 years publicly is the way that I see it. So again, Bobby's been in their life for a very long time, which is what normally happens with managers.
Yeah.
So.
All right. So then we get to them in their apartment, which I know a lot of people in K-pop refers to like the dorm, but they're really just like places the groups live together. And then we see Zoe and Mira get super excited about the couch. We got our new thing. Couch. You know what's so funny? If you Google K-pop Demon Hunters on Google,
comes up.
Yes,
it comes up.
I saw that this morning. Couch. And they're in their bathrobes and they have like 2 weeks worth of snacks and food so they don't have to move unless they have to like go to the bathroom. Meanwhile, Rumi is being sneaky and she's like, oh, so, the whole moon started turning gold. Let's speed up this process. So she goes down to where they have like all of these costumes, picks out her costume, and then on her phone sneakily releases their new song Golden. And tells them like, hey, guys, so it's time to get back to work. And then we get that hilarious scene where she's like slowly rises from behind the couch as soon as they sat down. She's like, hey, guys, did you enjoy your break? And Mira's like, we just sat down. What are you talking about? And then it reveals her costume and they both look at her like, Rumi, what did you do? You not tell me you released the song. It comes out tonight. Yeah. They're like, no, couchy time. And then poor Zoe, when Bobby came in, she's like, we didn't get couchy time. But apparently Bobby was ready because he also had his promotional Golden outfit on when he told them it was trending.
The release. Yep. So, sometimes I feel like that does happen.
It probably does.
I have a feeling that does happen. I do have a question for you, though. It's going to be a very silly question, and this is also for everyone that's listening. Anytime that you have a moment that you know that you're going to chill and you're just going to either watch movies, watch shows, or whatever, sit on the couch, how long does your snacks actually last?
Well, see, because I don't bring my snacks with me. That's a hard question for me because sometimes I get so engrossed in things. Unfortunately, I am a person who forgets to eat something that day until I'm starving. I'm like, you know what? Maybe I should get up and eat something. So do you mean snacks I bring with me, or like if let's say I have a bag of chips in like the cabinet and then like how long it takes me to finish that bag of chips? Is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I mean, depends what it is, because if it's something I really, really enjoy, it can be like a few days. Like, unfortunately, I'm going to expose myself. Like, I bought myself like a little mini cake. I'm also a person where like I go through this really bad habit to where like I try to go so long without sweets. And then when I introduce it back, I'm like That's all I want to eat.
Indulging. Yeah.
Yeah. So like I was able to finish a very small cake by myself within 3 days, which you can judge me as much as you want. Okay.
Girl, I was going to say you do a lot better than we do, because like when me and Krista decide to like we're just chilling this weekend, we're not doing anything. We plan to do our groceries on Friday, and we get all our weekend snacks, right? Including the snacks that are meant to last us for like 2 weeks. Yeah, almost everything is like gone by like
it's gone.
Saturday night.
Oh yeah, I've done that before.
Yeah, when I saw the girls and like how you just said they had so many snacks for their next 2 weeks, the picture came into my head and I'm like, yeah, that was not going to last them 2 weeks.
That would have been gone the next day if they actually was able to take a break.
If they decided to go to sleep.
That too.
If they didn't decide to go to sleep that night, that stuff would have been gone. It
would have been gone in the morning.
Yep, exactly.
And see, again, this is something we can relate to as women. Like, this is the real side, guys. We're not all pretty and pristine and, this is the real us.
I have yet to meet someone that doesn't enjoy, like a woman that doesn't enjoy eating in some formal way,
Yeah.
We all love to snack, honestly. Just give us food and we'll be happy.
Exactly.
Like, so much can be solved. So much can be solved if we have food in our system. Like, we won't be as grumpy.
And that's our fault, too, because we be trying to do so much and just run on coffee and have no food. So if we actually just, give us coffee and some food, then we're fine, guys. We're chill.
Exactly. Easy fix.
So Golden gets released with the countdown, and the song, is about their past insecurities, but, like how they can come together, stronger together like gold. And like, obviously, this is about them secretly being hunters, that they will succeed in turning the whole moon gold. That's just me. I'm sure you picked up on that as well, like to call a song Golden.
Yeah.
So we do, get like kind of a montage and glimpse of the music video Golden, fans watching it. And through that as well, we get like the girls giving an interview about the song. During the song, too, kind of getting into the bridge, we kind of get like this scene of panning from the studio, Mira and Zoe sharing a green room. And then we see Rumi actually has a private one all by herself, which, again, usually in K-pop groups, they all just have one. There's no like one specific star among the others. But again, it's a movie. It also goes into like the Western thing, because I feel like it can tie into like how we view groups, and we're always like, this one member is the breakout star. It's a tale as old as time. So
yeah.
Yes, but she's in her own private room, basically getting ready for the viewing. And even within the song, when she's singing about like hiding, she takes off her jacket, and it actually reveals to everyone that she has the same purple markings on her arm as the demons that they were fighting on the plane, revealing that Rumi is part demon. Dun, dun, dun. Plot twist.
I did wonder about that. Like, when I first seen it, I was all like, is she part demon, or did something happen that she became a demon, or is becoming a demon?
I should have known, but I wasn't expecting it, because I had no expectations going into this movie the first time I watched it. So it was actually a surprise for me. I'm like, okay, so we're doing the half demon thing. Good. I liked how they revealed it too, like through the song. It was very a smart choice to think, because like until that part, it made me like realize like, oh shit, she's always covering, her arms and her neck, because that's where the marks are. So during the rehearsal for the live TV broadcasting of the show, as they're singing, Rumi's voice starts cracking every time she tries to hit the high notes in the song. She runs out to the dressing room and then zips down the little shirt she's wearing that goes up to her neck, and sees that the marks actually are starting to spread and is like kind of over her throat a little bit. So she panics and fully runs out of the studio. And then we start getting flashbacks of her as a little girl singing the Hunter song about how they defeat demons with their songs to protect the world. In that same flashback, we get Celine braiding her hair in front of what we can assume or know now is Rumi's mother's grave. Because early on, they did say that she had passed away when Rumi was an infant. Little baby Rumi asks Celine, like, when she's done singing, like, do they actually kill everything with a mark? And she lifts up her sleeve to show that she has markings on her shoulder, but at that time, it's not like all over her arms like it is as she's older. So I think that was also an important plot point. It's just like on the tidbit of her shoulder. But then Celine quickly tells her to cover them up, saying that she's not like those other demons or like her father as well, and that she's more like her mother, who was a hunter. And then she also tells Rumi that, you know, once the honeymoon is fully sealed, all the demons will be gone from the world and her marks will disappear as well. And then in another flashback, we see that they are older and I guess what looks like Celine's office. So I'm assuming maybe she considered the CEO for Huntrick. I'm assuming that's what it looked like.
That's
what
I'm thinking. I feel like in every generation, whenever a new trio comes out, one girl, or if not, all three of the women that were previously the hunters help to train the new ones that are coming in and going to take their spot. So I feel like they're the teachers while the new ones tend to be the trainees type of thing.
Yeah.
Like, I wonder if that's the situation that happens.
It seemed like it.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, we've seen that in real life too. Like how many CEOs that we know of used to be, you know, like performers or an idol group. So famous one is, you know, YG from YG Entertainment himself. So, but in that flashback, we see Mira and Zoe are like basically begging Rumi to join them at a bathhouse. And so she like covers up her shoulder. I don't think they can see Rumi. I think they're like outside Celine's office and Rumi is in Celine's office, kind of hiding behind the wall. And she's like, you know, telling them that she can't go and like maybe next time. And she declines. And then Mira is always like, that's what she always says. But then when she comes out, she's like, you know, maybe I can tell them and that they'll understand. And Celine's very like demanding, like, no, can't tell them, or it shouldn't even matter until her patterns are gone, which basically reveals also to the audience that Mira and Zoe do not know that she is part demon. So it's basically a secret for everyone except for her and Celine. All right, but then we come back to the present and we see how much the patterns have spread onto Rumi's arms. And when she was running away, she ends up on a rooftop. She's trying to sing the song, but her voice keeps cracking. She gets discouraged and acts out loud like how is she supposed to save the world and fix herself, meaning like have her marks removed if she doesn't have a voice. Then she lets out the most frustrating scream. And like within that scream, it actually turns like into a demonic kind of sound for the first time ever. And it actually sends like this ripple of a red type wave throughout the honeymoon. So then after that, we see that the girls are at like a restaurant trying to comfort Rumi for canceling the live show while Bobby tries to scramble to fix it. Where Zoe's like, it's fine, Rumi. Bobby can handle this. He calls them, girls, I can't handle this. Got a lot of upset fans. The studio's angry, but it's fine. That's why you pay me 3%. That's why I want to know how rich they are. Okay.
We'll never get that answer. But...
I know. It's fine. It's fine. But Mira also does ask a very important question of why did Rumi push out Golden so early if she was having trouble with her voice? And Rumi says it's because they're so close to turning the honeymoon gold. You know, also suddenly, besides the main goal they all know of like sealing away the demons, Rumi has an alternative of like getting rid of her marks because that is what she believes. So Zoe has an idea out of her 57 ideas to go to this doctor who has these specific tonics that should help Rumi with her voice so that when they go out, they're, you know, like in disguise so they won't be recognized. And when they go to the office, the background people are talking about like there's going to be a free concert, busking. And then like the last thing we see is a guy asks, who are the Saja boys? And I thought it was funny. Yes, dun dun dun. I thought it was funny because, again, I have the link in the description box where they did like a short 5 to 6 minute video with the Twice girls, and they were like reviewing the Huntrix's different outfits and different scenes. And it was interesting when they talked about the casual clothes, when even I think it was Gio who was talking about how it was like if you wanted to make it more realistic, like the girls would have been wearing masks because, you know, they wear masks in Korea.
Yes. Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Yeah. And it was just like cute because one thing she had pointed out for like the group herself twice, she was like, they get recognized more if there's more than 4 of them because, you know, there's 9 in Twice. So if there's too many of them, it's more easy for people to recognize them than if they're like by themselves like 1 or 2 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a good video. Again, people should watch it that I have linked below. So the shady doctor examines Rumi and tells her she has a lot of walls built up and starts talking about like all these problems he sees with like Zoe and Mira, mainly like Rumi being a workaholic. It seems like Zoe is too eager to please people and Mira just scares him. And then like I was getting suspicious of the doctor. So I'm like, so are you like a demon or something? How are you doing all this? But we never got further into that. I also didn't list him in the introduction, but the person who plays the doctor, his name is Daniel Day Kim. He is also a pretty well-known actor in a lot of stuff, and he as well plays in the live-action remake of Avatar: The Last Airbender. Do you know who he plays, Lala?
No.
Fire Lord Ozai.
That was him?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay.
Yep. So that is our doctor in this movie. Just a little,
I wouldn't have been able to put two and two together, like if I don't go and look for the information, because obviously you can play with your voice. So
yeah,
I did not take him seriously as him playing the doctor here. That's why I started laughing when I read like you said shady doctor. I was like, very.
Listen, he's definitely one of those doctors that just be out giving you money, the cheapest over-the-counter medicine, saying this is a special thing for this. Yeah, shady all around. Not a real doctor, a scam.
Literally, which is why it's like, I don't even think he'd be a demon.
True. Well,
no, because that means that people would be dying coming out of his clinic.
True. You're right. Okay, so in the end, they end up getting the tonics. Thanks to Zoe giving him a picture of the group that he was able to glue a picture of himself next to, I'm sure for business, being like, hey, the Huntrix, or I know the Huntrix, or something like that. They're endorsing me. And as they're walking down like an alleyway, that is when we meet the Saja boys. The very creative way of like Zoe and Mira like going through phases of their eyes of like seeing them and then turning into corn. And then the butter, and then turns into popcorn when we finally see the ab, just to emphasize how hot they are, girls going crazy over hot boys. And then my favorite part was when Rumi looked so disgusted and she started saying something to them. I don't remember her exact lines, but when she looks over and sees Jinu, I was like, yes, bring on the K-drama scene when it slows down and he pushes his bangs out of his eyes and her mouth opens and everything just freezes around them. And I thought it was hilarious because they also do this in K-dramas when like they may slightly bump into each other, but then the girl like falls like she's been pushed 10 feet away. And her face when she's slowly falling.
God.
And then we thought we were going to get
that.
They really did. Thought we were going to get the normal trope of like when she looks at him, he was going to offer help, but then he dusts off his shoulder like you should watch where you're going. Being a real jerk. Although that is also a trope in K-dramas too, so it could have went either way. But they chose the jerk way. And then I also love when they start gagging over the boys where they're like, they're just so and he's like, no, they're actually like pretending to throw up. It's like gross boys. But then they start hearing music, and when they go over to it, they see it's the same boys that they pass busking in the streets as Lala starts doing the dance, the shoulders. While performing, they do see a flash of purple marks on Abby's arm and Jinu's neck. So they realize they're not just a boy band, but a demon boy band. But they can't do anything about it since they're in public. And Rumi realizes quickly they're trying to seduce the fans, and it's working. And that's when we get into the first one in line. What of your soul being? Yeah. For people who don't know, I make fun of Lala a lot when we message each other of like how she would be one of the first souls snatched. Okay.
Yes.
I don't even think she would have made it to the end song. I think they would have taken her soul during Soda Pop.
Yes, they would have. Because like, I'm not going to deny it. I'm literally Zoe. That's why I think I love Zoe too. Because I'm literally Zoe. Zoe just the entire time. And she was right away like, magicians. No. Demons. They're demons. By the way, that is something a magician would do.
Yes. And she's like, maybe they're nice demons. And they're like, demons aren't nice.
Yep.
Which technically, I feel like she is the one to kick off that theme when she says, maybe they're nice demons. It's the first, like, I don't know what word to use. Yeah.
Like, introduction. Hint, yeah.
Yeah. So once they're done and leave, and it's also funny in the anime world where they're like, catch us on this idol show, and they just disappear and no one questions how they disappear except for when Zoe was like, that's
so that's when Zoe was all like, that's, by the way, that's what a magician would do. Like, yeah, because that is something a magician. So, but I mean, if you think about it, that would pique your interest. That's the reason why they did that.
True.
Because if all of a sudden you're like listening to them, they're dancing, they're performing, and then out of nowhere they disappear, you're like, whoa, can they also do magic? You know, so it piques your interest. Again, I'm a sucker. I would be the first one down. It's fine. It's fine.
You would.
It's okay.
I'd be like, rest in peace, Lala. I lost her. I lost her to the Saja boys.
Yeah, just put that on the headstone. It's okay.
Lost her to Soda Pop.
No, just put Saja boys because your idol. Oh, anyways. Okay, let's keep going.
Can I put in quotation marks, control your shoulders? Control those shoulders?
Yes.
Okay. I'm going to put that on your tombstone.
Yes.
Anyway, so the girls get ready in battle mode. And that part was so funny of them getting dressed. And then the nails said, kill Saja.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know who did the caca because they were too far away when they're like, let's go get them. Caca! Like,
I couldn't see which one it was.
I need to know who actually did that because that had me dying. Okay?
My money would be on Zoe.
Probably.
My money would be on Zoe. Yeah.
It was so funny. But yes, they ended up going over to the variety show that they're at. And listen, I think sometimes variety shows are a way of like torture, but that's just me. I don't find it enjoyable to watch people I like drink hot sauce until they can't anymore. But yeah. Anyway, humiliation rituals. It's fine. Yeah. It's fine. And Baby Saja won that, of course. But once they were done, Jinu had noticed them and he puts them on the spot to make it easier for them to escape. So that part was also funny. The way he says play games with us, trending.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
And how they wanted them to slide down into the ball pit and like in the balls. And the leather had betrayed them because when they're sliding down, it's squeaking so much. And one guy's like, make it stop.
Oh, they should have saw that coming. It's fine. It's fine.
Even Zoe was like, the leather has betrayed us.
Mm-hmm.
And the bowing competition was so funny. It's like, no, like breaking their backs, grateful. Trying to bow to each other. It's like, it's our honor, no ours, no ours.
Yeah, and then you can hear that, ow,
my back. That's how you also know they're not teenagers if they're complaining about their back for how far they're bowing. So funny. But the boys end up running out, distracted from the bowing. They run into a bathhouse. Unfortunately, it is a male one. But the Huntrix follows them and ends up fighting off these special water demons. Now, Rumi ends up running off on her own and catches up with Jinu. In the middle of their fight, he looks at the rip that he created on her arm on the costume when they were fighting, and it reveals her marks, which completely confuses and stuns Jinu because he's like, how can she be a hunter and she is part demon? So, and then there is a moment where I think one of the girls threw a demon through the wall and it goes into like a really cool slow motion effect where they're looking for Rumi. And then Jinu, out of nowhere, ends up actually shielding her. Kind of looks like he's hugging her. And then when he leaves, we notice that during that time, like super demon speed, I'm assuming, he wraps a towel around her arm to cover up the marks before he escapes. So when the demons finally when the Huntrix finally defeats the demons that are in there and they leave because an old man kicks them out, we do see him start to sing Soda Pop, and then a demon appears behind and takes his soul.
Would have been me.
That would have been Lala. And then Jinu is brought down to the underworld by Guima himself. The demons are cheering. I think they had light sticks of the Saja boys already, the demons, correct? Yep. Being praised, and then you see some souls in the sky heading towards Guima, so it's obviously starting to work. Interestingly, Guima tells Jinu that there's a hunter who bears his marks, but he has no control over her. But Jinu reassures Guima that it's a good thing because it means she has shame, or she's ashamed of something, and he'll find out what it is. And then he also reassures Guima that everything is going according to plan. All right, so we get to the Huntrix back at their dorm after the fight, looking all cut up and bloody. They're looking out the window and they see the Honmu now has all these red spots in them, which are like holes that are weak spots, making it easier for the demons to come out. Bobby comes up and shows them that the Saja boys are trending on social media. And then I thought it was just, very ironic where he's like worrying, and he's like, you know what? It's just social media. I have to get away from my phone. And he looks out and he sees the beautiful city while the girls look out and see the Honmu being destroyed.
Yep.
He's like, it's not the end of the world from his perspective. And then the girls look out and it's like, no, it's literally
the end of the world. That was.
But even before that, it's funny when he's scrolling what assumingly is like their version of TikTok and seeing all the people do the shoulders soda pop. And then you see Zoe come up behind him to watch. And they're like, Bobby, Zoe, control those shoulders.
And Zoe right away, she's all like, it's a really good song. They're really good.
Yes.
Bobby even agreed. Even though after his comment, he literally says, he's all like, but they suck.
Yes. Because he still has to support his girls.
Yeah.
So in order to keep the fans, Rumi comes up with the idea to defeat the Saja boys at the Idol Award show with the diss track. That way they can keep their fans happy, complete the honeymoon, and defeat the demons. Now, after that, Rumi goes back into her room and she sees the scarf that Jinu put on her arm, like on her bed. And she starts thinking of him only to meet up with his companion, Susie, which is a six-eyed magpie, and Derpy the tiger. They have an invitation from Jinu to Rumi so they can meet up and have a chat. Rumi thought she had the element of surprise to kill him. And unfortunately, Jinu seems like he's one step ahead with the mannequin, saying it was an icebreaker, also making fun of her having trains. What was it? Trains and something else on her pajama pants?
Teddy bears and trains.
Teddy bears and trains.
Choo.
Jinu confronts Rumi about her being a demon who is also a hunter, and how he figured out really quickly that her friends are unaware, but he kept her secret. He's asking her questions about her marks and if she can hear Guima talking to her, like how the other demons can constantly hear him. He does try to relate to Rumi about like knowing how she feels when it comes to hiding. She says demons don't feel, and he tells her that that's all demons do is feel. All they feel is misery and shame 24/7. So then in that as well. How that works.
Like, I do have a question. In this specific scene, I do wonder, because I feel like some demons are created and then there's demons like Jinu that were human that then later on got converted to demons because they agreed and basically gave their soul up.
I'm going to slightly come back to that later on.
Okay.
But I also had that question, but I can explain a little bit more with Korean history on that question you have slightly. Because I had something else that kind of goes into that as far as question. So we can bring that up a little bit later. Okay. But for Jinu himself, he goes into the backstory of when he first heard Guima, which was 400 years ago. He talks about how his family was poor and how he tried to play bipa, which is a pear-shaped lute that is a Korean traditional instrument, in the street to get money, but had no luck. And then while he's looking into the reflection of himself in the puddle, that's when he actually starts hearing Guima's voice, just basically spewing doubt into him, telling him he's not good enough, he can never provide for his family. However, he can help him. And overnight is when he gets invited to start playing and singing at the palace and for the king himself. Him and his family finally lived a comfortable life with clean clothes and full bellies. But then the pattern started to show over his body, and then he was trapped in the demon world to serve Guima for all eternity. He says the marks are a reminder of his shame and that he can never escape it. But Rumi keeps telling him that they are not the same and she'll never be like him. And I am also going to, again, towards the end, bring up the specific thing because it goes into something I have to say. But just remember his first initial story that he tells Rumi. Then we go into the montage of Huntrix creating Takedown, which they were struggling with at first until Zoe started drooling over a poster of Mystery. And Mira had to go over there and tear it down, saying they won't be able to concentrate until they take them down, like they're going to take down these boys. So then the phrase sparks inspiration in Rumi, and they got their title of the song and start writing the lyrics. And then in the montage, you can see like they're fighting the demon, still working on the song. There's a part where like Mira throws a demon and it makes a specific beat to where like she liked for the song. We also see them having a back and forth during music shows of like the Saja boys winning for Soda Pop and then the girls winning for Golden. So they're basically neck to neck when it comes to like the charts and everything. And then we also see, due to Rumi having her chat with Jinu, that she's starting to kind of build empathy for the demons. There's even one point where like she traps a demon, but she's like whispering to him, like, are you okay? Like, are you being controlled by Guima? Until Mira came in and like killed it. And it's like, were you just talking to the demon? And she's like, no, I think you were just imagining things. Or I don't remember the exact excuse that she came up with. And then at the same time, too, the Saja boys are also taking over the city. And then we see parts where like first on a billboard is the Huntrix and then they get replaced with Saja boys. So then the Huntrix has a fan meeting and the Saja boys crash it, which leads the two groups into doing a joint fan sign. And again, that was another point of me saying, oh, so this is also the fiction part. Because never, that would never happen. Whoa. Twitter would be on fire if that ever happened.
It'd be so, I don't know. I feel like, would you like to see that though?
If they're from the same company, like I wouldn't mind. Why not?
Like, I honestly, same here. Like, I wouldn't mind, like, let's say BTS and TXT, because they always reference TXT as like their little brothers. You know what I mean? Like, I wouldn't mind.
Boy groups, though. It's different when it's a boy group and a girl group, knowing, yes, the current atmosphere of K-pop.
Le Seraphim? Yeah.
Le Seraphim.
They're under... no.
It's fine.
They're
Le Seraphim.
Under 5, aren't they? Yeah. They're under 5, right? I don't know. I mean, I think the closest thing that we're seeing when it comes to crisscross and even crisscrossing companies is the challenges that get done.
Yes. Which I think help bring back the interaction of boys and girls, again, interacting and seeing like, hey, this is normal. Like, you don't have to always start dating rumors, even though we're going to talk about that in a second, or just like be like, she can't be next to my idol and vice versa. Because unfortunately, this propaganda of like promoting these idols as like their fans, significant other, and the mess that's been. So, yeah, this was definitely more of a Western thing as far as the fan meet and a joint fan meet.
Yeah. And the other thing, too, it's like also the collaborations that are happening between companies. So that way it's like, yes, we're from different companies, but you don't have to one's better than the other type of thing. Kind of like with Hobie and San. Yeah,
but I don't know, because that's the way they compete too, which is a whole different topic that we don't have time for.
Yeah.
But I mean, there was also rumors too that scene was supposed to be basically them doing their own version of like the Isaac, which I don't remember the exact acronym for, but it's like a thing they used to do, which I think they're bringing back, of like idols from all of these different companies, like you just said, performing in like what we considered like Olympic type game. I don't remember the actual acronym, but that's what I don't know if you've ever seen idols doing Isaac. Like there's a lot of clips of like BTS doing it. Like there's some scenes where like Yoongi participated in like the basketball tournament. There's a very famous clip of Jungkook, 2 of them, when they were doing a relay, and he surpassed everyone because they didn't believe like he was going to make it. BTS won, and then there's another one where they were doing a form of wrestling to kind of get back at the group.
I've seen all of those.
That's from the Isaac thing.
I feel like they have those for like when they're first debuting type thing. Like they're older, like they're earlier.
No, I mean BTS did it all the way up until, I want to say, until they started getting big in the States. Like they at least did it up until either part 1 or part 2 of HYYH.
Oh, okay.
And other groups too, like Twice has done it. Like, yeah.
I feel like another one is Kingdom. I forgot what the name of the actual show is. I know it somewhere in there, but they actually like perform and sing, and it's like from different groups.
But that's a competition show though. Where I don't know if they really won anything with the Isaac. It was more for fun and like almost fan servicey, and then like seeing other idols from different groups like.
I mean, you can't tell me that wasn't competition too, though, because.
But I don't think they won anything like they were supposed to win in the Kingdom show that you're talking about.
Okay.
Different type of stakes, if that makes sense.
Yeah. I don't know. The Kingdom one seems kind of cool only because like all the groups get basically not necessarily pulled apart, but each member goes into a different one and another group is created by different members of.
Oh, so no, you're not talking about Kingdom. We're talking about completely different shows. You're talking about the produced shows, like Produce 101 and all that. I think it's been renamed a couple times, but you're talking about groups that has like created Kepler or like created Zero Base One right now. Things like that.
They don't create a group because they're all. So like, I know Stray Kids and ATs. I think it was, I can't remember who from ATs.
Yes, no, switched, but they didn't create a group. That was just a segment of the entire show, but they were still competing as ATs. They were still competing as Stray Kids, things like that. That wasn't the premise of like mixing and matching them. You're only talking about a specific challenge that they did. I watched that, so I know what you're talking about. And yeah.
Okay.
So it's still different. Okay. Yeah. Because when they won as the representative group that's already there. So like I know the Road to Kingdom, the boys had won at that time, and that led them to be on Kingdom with Stray Kids, with ATs, with I think B2B also, and whoever won from that, which I think was Stray Kids. Yes.
Okay. Because
at first you were explaining Produce, which is when they take either people from already established smaller groups or trainees to form a whole new group. That wasn't what Kingdom was.
Okay. I didn't realize that Kingdom was an entire competition. So, okay. That makes more sense now.
Yes. And then, I don't know if it's still going on or not. I feel like they had another season, but this was more, the Isaac is more different because, again, it's like, I feel like it was just more chill and laid back just to watch, like, idols basically play games and just in Olympic style. They were, like, competing, but, like, not really competing. Again, that was before I really got into K-pop, so I don't know if, like, winning groups actually won anything or not.
Okay.
Yeah. So that's what I mean. But they ended up taking it out because, as we're discussing too, not many people actually know what that was. So the producers didn't think it. They asked them to change it. Well. Yeah, because they didn't think many people would understand that part of like the K-pop culture. So that's why it ended up being a co-ed joint fan meet. In their eyes, that's more realistic, quote unquote.
Okay.
Yeah. Also, it's just interesting and funny of like Rumi and Ginu whispering to each other. That doesn't cause more chaos between the fans, but like they're actually enjoying it and shipping them. And then with the one fan who comes up like, are you guys whispering to each other? It's okay. Your secret is safe with me, thinking they're like dating. And then she reveals she has a shirt on with the ship name Ruginu. I think that's how you pronounce it.
Rugino?
That's their ship name. And then Zoe has one with mystery called Zoistery. And then I was very interested by like, okay, so we're propping up poly relationships because they ship Mira with Abby and Romance. The Miro Mabby. Oh, okay. Team 1 for poly relationships. Let's go. Progressive in my eyes.
It is.
So, of course, continuing with their whispering, Ginu and Rumi get into it. He tells her he's only doing this to get the memories and the voices out of his head. And Rumi talks about how she's doing this because she hates her marks, demons, and Guima. And then the very important thing where Genu brings up that if hate could defeat Guima, he would have been able to defeat him a long time ago. Which I feel like many people also kind of skipped in a sense. Yes.
Yeah.
Because it kind of goes into the whole theming of this movie. And then we get a little girl interrupting them and gives Genu fan art where it says he has a beautiful soul. And then you can kind of see the conflict that he's having within himself since discovering Rumi is part demon continues to grow. So they're both, going through internal battles with themselves. Genu's words of hating demons and Guima also get to Rumi as she's going over the song and starts crossing out some lyrics and starting to feel a different way. There's certain parts she can't sing. Mira comes into her room because she hears Rumi singing and confronts her on her abnormal behavior when it comes to how she seems to show, like, I'm not sure if sympathy or empathy is the right word, but one of those two, towards the demons and changing the lyrics to their new songs. And, of course, Rumi's able to cover it up and convince her nothing's wrong. And she's imagining things. And then Mira ends up blaming it on her being anxious on winning the Idol Award so they can finally complete the honeymoon, which is the thing that's kind of also honestly really looming over their head of like, okay, we have to make sure we find the perfect song in order to completely seal the honeymoon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And even during all this, the Saja boys continue to grow in popularity, making it easier for the demons to take their souls back to Guima so he can feed. And we see like a small little thing of like how many humans are starting to be reported as missing. Rumi meets up with Genu again, and she tells him she has her own plan to basically free him of everything. She tells him that if he helps the Huntrix win the Idol Awards, he should be able to stay in the human world while they seal the honeymoon, and he'll finally be free. He does question her on how does she know that this plan will work. And she basically is like, I don't know, but like, I have to have hope, because if there's no hope in saving him, how can she save herself? Yeah. So also died at the scene when they're kind of bickering. The old woman comes up to them and offers a bracelet to them and is like, give it to your girlfriend. And they start being like, we're not dating. And he's like, she's not even my type. And that's really gets Rumi like angry. She's like, I'm everybody's type. What are you talking about? But I love. And I'm like, this is what we need to see more of, especially from older generation, where she gives the bracelet to Rumi and she's like, go find a better boyfriend. This one's hopeless. Like, I just love that, especially I feel like minority cultures, especially in America, where, we're taught to always like find a man and, settle and all that. So it was just nice to see something different, especially from someone older, where it's like, don't settle.
Yep.
If he's causing you this much stress, go find someone who will take care of you. So
exactly.
I just loved that part. And then, of course, after that, because I know Genu made a comment where he's like, see, I am hopeless. So
I am hopeless.
But he does tell Rumi before they awkwardly leave is that he doesn't think she's a mistake, which is something Rumi keeps saying a lot, that she's a mistake and she shouldn't be there.
It's funny how he takes the bracelet too.
Yeah, I was like, because we also got the K-drama scene of him grabbing onto her wrist because he doesn't want her to go. And I think that was an excuse like, oh, I wanted the bracelet, but she gave it to Rumi. Why do you want the bracelet, sir? Anyway, it's
exactly. Fine. You just said you were hopeless.
During the rehearsal of Takedown, Rumi is struggling and she stops, saying she can't sing the song because it doesn't feel right, which leads the girls to start fighting, but they don't have time since the honeymoon lets them know that there are demons among them. So they actually run out and start battling them on a train, while Mira and Rumi have a fight among themselves as well, with Mira asking why she's acting weird and what she's hiding, telling Rumi that if she's one of them to, prove it while they're fighting. So while they're battling the demons, they are singing the song Takedown. However, during their fight, again, Rumi is just struggling to sing the song, and she like stumbles over like basically the parts where it says like demons don't deserve to live and everything. And it ends up messing them up. The demons become successful and takes all these people from the train. stakes are high, and Mira tells her whatever she's going through to push past it because there's just too much going on right now, and they have to complete sealing the honeymoon. Rumi and Jinu meets up again, and she asks him if he's up for the plan, but he has doubts it will work. Then she finally actually does open up about her shame to him, talks about the more she tries to hide who she is, which is, the part demon in her, the more the shame grew, which makes sense because, again, when she was a kid, it was just on her shoulder, so it's just been festering and building as she's gotten older. And until they took the one thing she relied on to be a hunter, which is her voice, that's when things started changing for her. However, after she met Jinu, and she doesn't understand, but for some reason, every time she talks to him, the more she talks to him, her voice started healing once again. And then we get our beautiful ballad and song Free, and I just love watching that every single time I've watched this movie. And then after the song, Jinu says he couldn't hear Guima anymore and agrees to help Rumi defeat the Saja boys. But then things quickly turn when Guima brings Jinu down to the underworld, reminding him of his place, saying, "You thought you could get rid of me. This girl's plan won't work. Remember, I'm the only one who can either increase the noises or take them away fully." So in the morning, the girls have a sit down going over the Idol Awards, and they all come to an agreement that Takedown isn't the appropriate song to perform just because, one, it wouldn't connect them with the fans, but it already is making them disconnect as a group. And that's when they slightly start opening up to each other about, their insecurities and fears of being together or not being together, and how being hunters has helped them and changed their mindset on a lot of things. So they end up agreeing that Golden is the song that they should perform, and Rumi even promises to go to the bathhouse with them once they win and seal the honeymoon, because again, we're still believing that her marks will go away once they turn it gold and seal the demons away forever. Now, once we actually get to the scene where the Idol Awards are happening, the Saja boys are supposed to perform, but they get into a quote-unquote fight, and the Huntrix are up next.
I kind of wish that they would have shown the little fight scene with the Saja boys.
Well, were they technically fighting? That's why I put it in quotes, because I feel like that was just, a cop-out for what's about to happen next.
Yeah, I know.
So that's probably why we didn't see them actually fight, because there wasn't actually a fight going on.
Mm-hmm.
So, and then this is what I talked about earlier, when they are about to head to the stage and they come out the dressing room, we get a cameo of some K-pop groups on the wall. So we see Twice, and then we see Meowth in the back. And then even when I first watched this, I was confused why Meowth was there, because I was like, aren't they a newish group? But now that I know the Black Label helped produce on the soundtrack, it makes more sense why there's a picture of them on there for promotions. Mm-hmm. So... all right, so they start performing Golden, and everything is going great. And then they see glimmers of the honeymoon turning gold, especially Rumi when she has her solo part and is, up in the sky swinging around the audience. During her solo part, though, Zoe and Mira go off stage briefly, but they see Bobby getting kidnapped by people, and they run over to rescue him. So when they do actually reach him, they realize they've been tricked by demons, and more demons actually disguise themselves as Mira and Zoe and go on stage. So when that happens, all of a sudden the music changes from Golden to Takedown, and the fake Mira and Zoe start pushing Rumi around, rip off her jacket to expose her marks. And I will also say it shows the professionalism, because when Rumi was standing there, they put Takedown back into the set list, and how she immediately just got into motion when it started playing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. And that's literally what happened. That's what happens with K-pop idols too. As soon as something happens, they'll go straight into okay, focus mode. This is what we're doing next.
Yep.
It's a good representation.
Professionalism.
They did really good. Mm-hmm.
So during the time they reveal her marks, the fake Mira and Zoe start whispering in her ear that she's a mistake. She wasn't meant to be there. So basically trying to get in Rumi's head and psych her out. So she ends up, screaming out, which destroys the stage, and everything turns black due to her demon voice. And when she comes off the stage, the real Mira and Zoe are there, and they see Rumi. And unfortunately, the marks have grown a lot more. So they're now on her face, all over her stomach, her legs, revealing them. And one of her eyes is also yellow. They're shocked, they're hurt, feel betrayed by all her lies. Mira kept saying that she knew something was going on. She was hiding something from them and she should have known. And the Rumi's trying to convince them that it's still her and they can fix it once they turn the whole moon gold. But then even Zoe was like, how can we tell your lies from your truth? And then there's a point where it gets really hostile where they even hold up their weapons to Rumi, causing her to run off. So then Rumi starts to look out for Jinu when she confronts him and asking if he caused this and that she thought they had something real. And then he actually comes out telling her the truth and told Rumi that he lied to her about his past. He actually left his mother and little sister behind so he can sleep in the silk sheets and perform in the palace, eat until his belly's full. And so he left them in the cold to die. So that's his biggest regret and his shame, was leaving them behind. And then, of course, is telling Rumi that she's a demon like him and all they deserve is to live with their misery and pain. And I'll say it now, which what I mentioned earlier is like, after watching this a couple times, I should have known he was lying. I already thought it was weird, but it's like one thing I don't know if people picked up on, but every time Jinu talks about the marks, he always talks about how they are meant to remind them of their shame and regret. So why would he have the marks if his family did end up going in the palace and living a lavish life? Now, I could see people interpreting that at first of like just making a deal with the devil in general, and that's his price he paid with the devil. But the way he keeps marking about how there's shame, you wouldn't get the marks if he didn't feel shameful. Usually you don't feel shameful if you ended up succeeding in your goal. You know what I mean?
But it depends on how you also get how you got that success, though. Did you get that success organically by working hard? Or did you get that success because you decided to make a deal with the devil or a demon, whichever?
I mean, true. I can see it like that, too.
Because then essentially you're lying. You're not only lying to yourself, but you're lying to everyone else because everyone else is seeing you as this big star. But in reality, you doubt your talent because you didn't get there naturally.
But I mean, in today's world...
Well, I mean, again,
yeah,
you have to remember this was 400 years ago. Okay.
Yes.
Okay. It was in his time period.
Yeah. And people were pointing out too, which I didn't even think of. It's like either way, like this was when we know like Guima had tricked Jinu because he never would have been able to bring his mother and sister to the palace. Like usually in cases like that, especially back then, from where he's from, his time period, like he would have had to leave them regardless. So it's like, and like you can even tell when you watch it a million times, like I do, like he has a look of confusion when they turn his mom and sister away. Like he didn't know he couldn't bring them. Yeah. So I'm sure that also adds to the shame, like promising them they would have this, that, and the third, and then getting there and they get turned away.
Which is what happens. Deals, at least from what gets portrayed, right, in books and in media and things like that, where you can make a deal, but you also have to be careful because you don't know exactly how you're going to get that deal. You have this thought of like, oh, I get to bring my mother and sister with me, but then reality is, no, you can't. You're only saving yourself, which again, I feel like the shame gets put on you because all of a sudden you made this deal that you thought would help not only yourself, but the people you love. And then it turns out that that deal was only made to help you. So I don't know. So it's just a lot of layers get added to that.
Very layered, very layered. But after that, we see the honeymoon basically dissolving. And then also Bobby is watching the Huntrix like literally free fall from the charts. That's when the announcer is telling the whole city about the Huntrix breakup, their public breakup, and also announcing the winner for the Idol Awards, which is basically the Saja Boys. They're sweeping all the awards. We don't know about any other groups, but it doesn't matter. And then all of a sudden, the Saja Boys appear and they announce they're holding a free concert for everyone. But obviously, it's a way for Guima to collect all these souls. And another thing, too, Guima, because that the Hanmu is dissolving, it's easier for him to whisper to all the humans. So like we see him whispering to Mira about like how she thought she found a family, but she really didn't. Zoe's insecurities of like being too much but not enough. He even got into Bobby's head about like not being able to protect the girls to lure them into this concert hall so he can take everybody's soul. Then we get Celine at the sacred tree, and she senses a presence approach her. So when she turns around, it reveals Rumi, and the marks are basically taking over her body. Half her body is covered with the marks in red. Again, one of her eyes is yellow. I think even one of her hands was starting to turn like spiky and demon-like. So when she confronts Celine, she tells her that, you know, the others found out about her being part demon, that it's over. They know. In despair, saying that she thought she can fix it all herself, but she ran out of time. And then that Celine knew that she was always a mistake. And she basically asks Celine to like do what she should have done when she was younger and kill her. Now, this part was interesting because obviously Celine can't do it because she keeps talking about Rumi's mother. And that would be a bond I would love if they have a chance to like get more into, because obviously Celine had deep, you know, feelings for her mother as far as like, that's my sister, that's my group mate, that's my partner when it comes to hunting and all that. So like when she died, she swore to protect anything and everything that was left of her, but she just didn't realize it would be Rumi. And the way it's so backhanded where she's like, she never thought it'd be a child like her. She also tells Rumi that everything she was taught and everything that she was taught was wrong, but she made a promise and she did her best to protect and accept Rumi. The part got me is when she said did her best.
Like, no, you didn't. You covered it up. You tried to cover it up. And on top of that,
well, she didn't do a good job at covering it up.
Well, that too. But here's the thing too. And that's my one thing about this whole entire situation is that, and this is where I mean that if people were to pay attention to this movie and how deep it actually goes down to, because if you really think about it, Rumi's shame isn't even her own. That's Celine's. Because if you think about it, Celine should have killed her. She went against everything she believed and was taught for however long she was a hunter to raise and protect Rumi, quote unquote, to her best ability, right? So technically and that's where it comes to like this generational cycle that a lot of people nowadays try to break, is she gave her that shame. It was never Rumi's to begin with.
It's like, what was the point of even having Guima in your ear if you already have someone who's supposed to quote unquote love and protect you, literally whispering the same things Guima would have been telling her.
Exactly.
It's like one of those things where it's like, what is the quote? Something about like sometimes how like, why even have enemies when you be having friends like that? I don't remember the exact
family.
quote. Yeah, or family.
I know
like
what you're talking about.
Yeah. And like even looking at it as a like, well, not immigrant, but I guess like, again, a minority in like places you grow up in where you're not the majority. I also saw it from like that perspective of like, I feel like Celine represents that generation, whether they immigrated or like the times that they grew up where like they're teaching their children to assimilate. So
I can see that.
Yeah. Don't break the status quo. Make sure you're always like, I know a lot of Asian Americans too on TikTok have actually come out and like talked about that too, and that specific theming, especially for them specifically, of like why we don't see them usually talk about a lot of things happening in the world unless it has to deal with like the Asian American diaspora. I'm not going to talk about it. That's their experience. But I've been seeing, you know, talking points on that, which you can see in this as well. So,
again, yes,
but
in this movie.
There is. But I mean, thankfully, Rumi did get into that ass because she's like, accept me. That triggered her. And she's like, you told me to cover up and hide. Like, don't be myself. Like, I can't share another part of me that I can't get rid of that I was born with. I know I was telling Gina, too, I thought of that, like, especially if you think of the history, like, as a Black person of, like, mixed race people, where, like, if they were able to pass off as white and, like, how they had to hide, like, they were part Black or things of that nature. So I could see it for that as well for me personally. I'm not mixed, but as being a Black person, you know, the history and all that. But Celine is still going on, saying that she only did that until they were able to fix everything. She'll tell Mira and Zoe that it was all a lie and an illusion that Guimon created to break them up. But when Rumi says, no more, you can see, she actually does scare Celine because that's what she was afraid of, her, showing her demon side. She can't even look at Rumi when, she axes and basically begs and pleads, why couldn't you love her? And, not just her, but, all of her. Because when she's like, I did love you, she's like, no, you didn't love all of me. It shakes up the whole moon. And then Celine starts going to a spat of this is why they must hide and not show their faults and fears in order to protect the whole moon. And then Rumi says, if this is the whole moon she's supposed to protect, she's glad it's being destroyed. And then she uses her actual demon powers to teleport away.
Yep.
And I did also see a very interesting talking point online by some people, maybe Celine was harping on this so much because as we do see, Guimon not only has control of demons, but he also has control of the humans. Again, that's how he got Genu. That's, I'm sure, how he got a lot of people and took their souls and made them demons. So it's I do wonder if part of that freaking out was so Guimon wouldn't get into their heads in order so they won't control them.
Yeah. Well, I mean, again, because he tends to lean on mistakes in a way. So I feel the demon hunters in some shape or form, they have to be perfect. They can't have any issues. They can't have any shame. They can't have any nothing. They basically have to be perfect in order to be what they are, quote unquote, what they're supposed to be.
Yeah. Which, I mean, again, ties it perfectly for making them idols. Because it's the same thing with idols. So the Saja boys are dressed as their true selves with Guimon, and he's all behind them. He's huge now. He's able to get into the human world, and basically a bunch of other demons there as well. At the venue, the crowd is constantly being seduced by the Saja boys. They're chanting for them and waiting for them until they start forming the song Your Idol. People start being lured into the fire, which is Guimon. The song is working to possess them until once they're done, they hear the voice of Rumi singing. And then it's really cool, the mixture of her voice and the demon voice. She starts saying the hunter's chant that she was always taught about the we are hunters. Voice is strong, slaying demons with our songs. Fix the world and make it right when darkness finally meets the light. So then there is a part where Guimon kind of taunts her about that and her insecurities from that saying, and saying she's exposed by everybody of who she really is. And she's agreeing and everything. And then when he mentions that the whole moon is gone and that she failed, she's yes, but that means we can create a new one. So then that's when we start getting the song, This Is What It Sounds Like, where they basically start embracing themselves, talking about how hiding themselves and insecurities has failed. And she's becoming stronger by telling her truth, which brings the members together to where they can finally fight off Guimon and the rest of the demons. So in order to stop them, he ends up trying to basically incinerate her with his fire. And there's a point where she's pushing back and we think that she ended up stopping it. But then who do we see blocking the fire? Genu. Which means he is sacrificing himself in order to save her. She's apologizing, saying she wanted to free him. And then he's like, you did. And thanking her. And it's I will give my soul to you. Listen, I don't remember the exact quote.
But he gave me my soul back. Yeah.
Yes. You gave me my soul back and now I'm giving it to you. That's what it was. Thank you, Lala. Which does help because then we start getting the souls of everyone else. Even when Genu gave her his soul, you can tell it increased her powers because she was able to get a hit into Guimon that actually hurt him. So then we continue with the song, collecting everyone else's souls, singing along with them, killing the other Saja boys. And then once they hover over Guimon, once they finish the song, a brand new Hon Moon is created. And they defeated the Demon King. And it's different because their whole goal was to turn it gold. However, this new Hon Moon is kind of like a rainbow color. And then finally, towards the end, we get Rumi going to a bathhouse with Zoe and Mira, and it's different because now she's actually showing herself. Even her marks are different. They're not that dark, depressing color, the purple color anymore. They're actually the same color as the Hanmoon. So, and even on her skin, like unless she's in the light, you can tell it's kind of like they just look like white scarring.
Yeah.
But like, there's certain parts where I like how they did in the animation. If she is in certain lighting, it does look like the rainbow color that is in the Hanmoon.
Yeah, I noticed that too.
Yeah, so once they're done and then they apologize to each other in the bathhouse saying how much they love each other, they are more excited because it's break time. They did their job and it's couch time. Couch. But then they see 3 young girls wearing their merch. And then they're like, even though they want to take a break, the reason they do this is for the fans. So then they end up going to the girls to say hi and start signing merch. And then we ended there with the billboard already of them taking new picture with Rumi showing, you know, her marks on the picture, seeing Derpy and Susie. And then we get the end credits of Twice singing Cake Down. And that is the movie. Yay! We defeated Guima. Now,
Sea of the Hanmoon.
Exactly. Before we go, quickly, Jinu's death, because that's the hottest topic that's going on online right now. Lala, your thoughts, theories on his death? Do you want to see him back? All
Jinu?
that good stuff. Yes. Also, I want to confirm for you, too, in that same Reddit Q&A. I know privately you were like, well, what happened to Baby and Romance? Because you didn't see them get killed. It is implied that Mira and Zoe did kill them. So
yeah.
She's like,
I kind of figured that they just didn't have it on the screens. But I know that was something that a lot of fans were like talking about and stuff like that. But we know at the end of the day, there were demons. First off, they were already dead. For crying out loud, Jinu was 400 years old. Like,
and we don't even know how long the other Soldier Boys, like if they were longer than Jinu, like,
yeah. And then
their stories.
You also have to think, like, how did you pronounce it again? Guinma? Guinma? Like, at the end of the day, he controlled them. Like, they had the bodies that they had. And he even said it, like, in the beginning, when Jinu was, like, mocking him, doing the song and introducing the fact, oh, we'll, you know, become a demon boy band or whatever. Guinma even said, I let you keep that voice. So it wasn't, they're not alive. Like, as soon as his soul, because his soul did get released, his soul did become free, and he was able to give it up. That was it. That's all he is just a soul. He's not an actual body. So, yes, I understand that everyone's like, oh, I want Jinu back for sequel 2. And like, yes, in a way, part of me does too. But I also understand that's not going to happen. There's no way. There's got to be another love interest.
Sorry, guys.
There has to be something else for part 2 or for the sequel. But I get it. It's the romance part. But again, there's so many layers. There's so much depth in this movie that it just, no.
Yeah.
We don't need to westernize it.
Yeah. Speaking of westernized, I'm glad that you brought that up, Lala, because I do notice in the talking points, again, we are like viewing this from our Western understanding, our Western growing up, especially when it comes to spirituality, religion, things like that. And what triggered me to go into more research on this was a TikTok I came across. Now, the girl could have done a little bit better in her introduction to try to explain this, because she did kind of came off rude. It's like, you guys are Korean, so you wouldn't understand this. And it's like, okay, girl, like, you don't have to do all that. Anyway, but it led to more nicer people who are excited to share about Korean culture that they grew up with or know about, for me to want to deep dive a little bit further and why Jinu more than likely will not come back. So, like I had said at the very beginning of this introduction, this whole thing is basically based off Korean shamanism. Now, the girls are based off of shamans. And even though they're labeled as hunters at the beginning of the movie, in real life, shamans are a majority women. So they're called mudang. There are some men, but a majority of them, I want to say probably like, if you want to put a number to it, like 85% to 90% of the shamans are women. And you even see that in the beginning of the movie, too, because the women, like the first hunters, they're wearing typical clothing that shamans actually did wear back then.
Okay.
So purpose in real life too that they're based off of. So the Mudang, they serve as mediators between paying clients. So yes, people do, pay them for their service, and the supernatural world, employing divination to determine the cause of their client's misfortune. So they usually perform rituals that are called good, that I did mention at the beginning, where they offer food and drink to the gods and spirits, or entertain them with like storytelling, a song, and a dance. There are like 1,000 forms of good that I found, again, all in the links, and they literally have their own practice and meanings. If we want to put it in real life, if you are a K-pop fan and you keep up with K-pop news, we saw that with, one who I will initial MHJ. I had to remember what her initials would be in English, and how we found out through how she was trying to take over a certain company, how she was using a shaman's help. And even though that they were making fun, in a sense, especially the Western people, like, this is a real thing. I don't know if they still use shamans like that, but especially in her generation, now that I know all this, it makes sense. So in my research, one good stood out to me, and it was called the Jinugi gut, which actually originated in the region where the city we know of, Seoul, is today, which makes sense because, again, the movie is set in Seoul. So the Jinugi gut refers to a type of Korean ritual performed to guide the spirit of a deceased person to the afterlife. It is a ritual of regime that eases the passing of the deceased and helps them reach paradise after facing judgments by the underworld king. It is supposed to help the spirit towards a peaceful transition to the afterlife and resolve any unresolved issues that may have hindered their journey. Sound familiar, guys? So, and this is my own personal theory that I wrote in here, I believe that the original hunters, like the Huntrix, well, not the Huntrix, but the hunters, because Huntrix is specifically Rumi, Zoe, and Mira. I believe they knew this. I believe this is what they were doing the whole time. And however, you know how things get like miswritten and misconstrued throughout history. I personally feel like something along the lines got mistranslated to where they ended up getting taught to hate the demons and kill them as opposed to help them pass on. And what makes me think that is looking at the little bit we got of Celine and the way she acted, talking about Rumi's father, who was a demon, compared to the unknown story that we know of how Rumi and Rumi's mother and her father, got together. So personally, I feel like along the way, there is some like mistranslation there of like changing the ways of how they're supposed to actually defeat these demons.
Yeah.
Now, there's a couple also theories I had of like maybe Rumi's mother somehow helped Rumi's father in some way get his soul back, like Jinu, away from Guima, and like somehow ended up helping him not have him in his ear all the time. Because I had posted a picture in the server that's going around, actually created by one of the creators. I had to make sure it wasn't like a fan art. There is a picture of Rumi's parents and of her when she's an infant. And from the way he is dressed, you can tell he also probably was a Saja or Grim Reaper and like a humanoid demon. So I have a feeling he was a human first and then, became a Saja somehow through Guima. Because the demons you were talking about earlier, the ones that look more monster-like, those were probably the ones that were never human, but were always demons. And I looked it up because it's the most common demons. They're called Dokebi, which also translates to like goblin or demon. And they're trickster spirits in nature. That's why it's shown like when they trick Mira and Zoe and kidnapping Bobby, but they're really demons. It shows their trickster nature. Yeah. Even like at the very beginning of them, like pretending to be like the pilot and the flight attendants. And also, fun fact, apparently they were, the story of them is they were created through inanimate objects stained with human blood. So that's how they became Dokebis.
Okay.
Yeah. And they're lower demons too. So I feel like all the regular demons that we saw like that. And there were other ones like the water demons. I don't know much about them, but the ones with the more monster, like I think they were Dokebis. So which like in all of this,
you do see like when Gino goes back into the underworld, you can see a lot of people a lot of them that were Sajas. So I figured like there had to be a difference between them, which I'm pretty sure there are. Like more differences between the demons.
And I think even a Saja at the very, very beginning of the movie was the one who brought the dokkaebis to collect the souls for Guima. Because, like, I never saw anywhere where it said the demons themselves eat the souls. I think they only collect them for Guima.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, their little purpose is to feed him.
Yep. Which I think is what happens anyways, because that's how he gets more powerful, which is how he creates more demons, you know. Yeah. So it's a whole cycle.
Yeah. So, and all that to say, with everything I said, that's why I'm like, Jinu's truly dead, because I think Rumi fulfilled her shaman duties to perform the Chunugi like ritual to help him not only get his soul back, but to heal him from his regret. Now, I do have two theories also. One, again, she fulfilled her duty and he passed on, like, after he gave his soul to her, like, and helped like defeat Guima, he was able to actually find peace. Or if we want to be like, Jinu's not gone, I actually do believe that Jinu's soul was used to create the new Honmoon, and Jinu is actually the new Honmoon. Because also, I didn't talk about it earlier, but Honmoon is actually, in Korean culture, a mystical gate of souls that, you know, creates the boundary between the living and the afterlife. Hon actually means soul, and Moon means like door or gate, which makes sense. Throughout the whole thing, you see them actually taking this parts of souls from living beings to create the Honmoon. So if you want to be like that, Jinu may be able to come back because his soul is still, it's being used between the living and the dead as the new Honmoon. Like, he's the main foundation of it. And even when people are like, oh, maybe he is her weapon. I mean, yes, you can consider that, because their weapons are actually created from the Honmoon. And it's shown at the beginning of the scene, like when they're about to fight and they're gathering them, you see Zoe like move her hand and it shows the glimmering wave of the Honmoon, and then her weapons appear. So their weapons are also made from the Honmoon.
Which, again, if you can really take it, the Honmoon is being created by, like, I don't want to say the souls of the people, because I don't believe that they're taking the souls from the people, but it's the belief of the people into the Honmoon and into them that helps them get that. So,
but they still kind of use their souls in a way. I'm not really sure how they do it, but they're still used in a sense, but it's not killing them, or it's not like taking their full essence away, if that's making sense.
Yeah. But it was a good movie.
Yeah. And even last night too, I had a theory of like, well, if we also want to be that way too, because in the song Golden, you know, Rumi talks about being a queen. And if we want to take it that route, maybe her father is like the true demon king, and like, in the sense of like demons aren't that bad, and his ruling of demons, you know, to help basically bring them up to the shaman so they could help them pass on. But then, like, you know, Guima maybe have appeared and overruled him, making him go into hiding, and then he meets Rumi's mom, and then, like, you know, maybe Rumi's like a princess, and that's how, because also another big factor is, out of everybody, even the humans, Rumi is the only person who cannot hear Guima at all. So like, there's something in that to where, why can she not hear him? So it's either Rumi's mother helped her father somehow find a way to break the control, or her father may be the true ruler. Again, those are my theories. Who knows?
We'll have to wait and see.
But yes,
if there is a sequel.
If there is a sequel, which we're hoping for. I think, I know they were saying like tracking and keeping it either at number 1 or high enough on Netflix may greenlight them into a sequel. So we hope so, and we will see. But until I see the creators themselves celebrating that there's going to be a sequel, we're just not going to believe all the rumors I've been seeing that there is going to be a sequel. So I would also like a prequel, because I really want to know more about not only her parents, but just like the creation of the hunters. I want to see if my theories are correct. I want to know what happened to make her mother fall in love with the demon, because I know there's also a theory going around when I talked about the Demon King that Rumi may be Guima's daughter, but I'm like, I feel like her mother is like Rumi in a way, to where like she had to be convinced, again from their teachings, that demons are not all bad. Like, I envision her father being like a Jinu to break her out of her teachings. To make her fall in love. I don't believe she would fall in love with someone like Guima, even if he tried to trick her. So, and like from the picture again, I was talking about.
And the way that he was. And on top of that, he would have been able to control Rumi then. Like, it just, there's so much there that's like, I don't think that'd be possible for him to be.
Plus, too, Yeah, from the picture I was talking about earlier, like if you see that picture, I'll try to find a way to maybe link it from the social media. Like he looks in love with both of them. So it's like you can't tell me someone has that much love and adoration for not only her mother and their child and then I don't know, throws it away, fakes it.
Yeah.
So
yeah. But all right, well, that was a good movie and review, and hopefully everyone goes and enjoys and supports not just, you know, the movie or the creators, but also take a look into some of like the other artists that are involved in this project and maybe take a look into their music.
As well as the animators, because a lot of them have been showing a lot of really cool like behind the scenes or like things that were cut out from the original like drawings. So it's been fun to find them too and see like the process basically of making this movie if you're also into like art and all that.
Yeah. Definitely show some love.
Yes. What we usually do when we do these, do you have a rating for this movie?
What's the highest rating?
We usually do like, I think out of 10.
Oh, well then 10. I love this
10 out of 10.
This movie will be my favorite movie of the year. I already told you that. So yeah.
I'll also give it a 10 out of 10, although it is battling with Sinners. I'm going to say it's like this and Sinners are up there as far as my favorite movies out of the year, which is a compliment because I don't remember the last time I've had a battle of like movies like that as far as favorites. So
yeah, definitely. So unless something else comes out later on, but so far I'm very picky when it comes to movies. I still have to go and see Sinners. So
it's on streaming. So if you have Max, it's on there now. HBO Max now. I'm sorry. They changed the name again.
Yeah. No surprise there.
Yes. I also give it a 10 out of 10. So great movie. Again, please go watch it. And we hope you enjoyed this review and let us know in the comments your thoughts, your theories. So you can email us any of that or comment if you're listening on Spotify. Our email is iwasthinkingpod@gmail.com. We would also highly appreciate any ratings, specifically the highest one. And we would also appreciate comments on how you enjoyed the show. You can follow us on social media at I Was Thinking Pod. We are trying to do a little bit better at keeping that consistent and posting some new things. So look out for that as well. And that's everything, correct? Yeah. So
yeah,
I've been Simone.
I've been Lala.
That has been Lala. And we will see you next time. Bye.
Bye.